looking at this series, is there any specific Civ matchups you're expecting to be hot spots of contention?
I mean, well, first things first, we expect the Byzantines double band on either side. Oh my gosh, and it's not.
Oh,
He's getting it.
what? Not just that.
That's
Like
great.
it's PuppyPaw getting the Byzantines. We have to keep in mind after Wham, PuppyPaw of the remaining players has been the best performing Byzantine player in this tournament. I think he's got 3 wins overall. The only other player who really was kind of shining a light on it, I think, in the group stage was Dumu, right? Crackedy. Like those 3 players have been the Byzantine kings.
Yeah, I mean, Byzantines, they look absolutely really strong here. So no surprise to me that PuppyPaw actually picks Byzantines here first. Beasty, on the other hand, also shouldn't feel too worried. He's getting Ottomans, and Ottomans, sure, they got nerfed, but overall, still a very, very solid civilization here for Beasty.
And well, this 1-2 tapper, right, of getting Byzantines plus Japanese, it feels pretty good, especially when you consider we've got Holy Island to look towards, right? Like that's the nice thing I think about Japanese right now, Dabston, is they're good on land. We've seen these fast castle builds, but it also feels like they're one of the best civs to have as a flexi pick for water maps as well.
Yeah, and we see over on BC's side as well. He ended up opting for the Ottoman choice over the Rus that was still open at that point, I believe. And
Mhm.
it's one that that's one of those that I kind of like to see in the arsenal as well for hybrid maps or land maps. It's strong across all the picks and ends up following it up with is that an additional Ayub? Okay, yeah, Ayubid's banned on the other side, and HRE is the choice over from PuppyPaw as well. So it has two very, very strong civilizations for hybrid maps. So it makes it very hard for BC to kind of game plan on Holy Island.
And does this feel like maybe a tailored at the player type ban situation, Crackedy? Because I feel like Iobid's taking that long to get banned. It's not something we see very often, right? Like this right now, for most players, is seen as a top 2 or top 3 civ.
Yeah, actually, we're seeing a Malian ban before that. So, um, yeah, I think outside of the first 2 bans, these were like player-oriented bans, banning the Malians, banning the Ayubids a little bit later. On the other hand side, over on PuppyPaw side, we got a little bit of the same there as well. So Chinese being banned first, Mongols being banned. So both players opting to ban a couple of civilizations that they think are just really strong right now. Rus, for example, Ayubids, and then a lot of civilizations are getting banned that they just think are baseline really, really strong. I like that PuppyPaw banned Byzantines first because that means that like BC can't snipe it by picking it itself as well.
It's interesting as well, Dabs, because I feel like we kind of had it a little bit with Louis' series, right? Where it's almost like picks and bans you'd expect to see, or rather picks at least, that you prioritize before the patch versus ones afterwards, right? Like getting Byzantines and HRE, who I'd say were the 2 biggest benefactors of the most recent patch changes, kind of speaks to maybe a different approach by both the players.
Yeah, I mean, it's for sure. I feel like PuppyPaw is not only picking the civs that are good after the patch, but also kind of suits his playstyle. You said him being one of the better Byzantine players. Well, not only did Byzantines get a buff, he was already good on Byzantine. So kind of dual effect there. And not only that, is able to snag the HRE away from Beasty, who I think is one of his best civilizations that he has in his arsenal.
And obviously, we see the final like picks or towards the end, right? The Malians and the Mongols because the bands that came out. Interesting final round with the Order of the Dragon pick coming out, Crackety. Does this feel like it's more focused at protecting other picks like the HRE?
I think it's more of a okay, what civilizations are left kind of
Yeah.
situation here to pick at this point in time. OOTD, I think in general, can be underestimated greatly in many different situations. I think OOTD they do have their times when they shine. They certainly do. They certainly do. Also, they got a little bit of a buff as well recently, so the Archon Chapel is a little bit more efficient now. Um, it helps. It certainly helps. I feel like they needed a little bit of a buff in that direction. So definitely good on them there. BC on the other hand side gets Mongols, Juji, and English. I mean, we just saw English working out really well, but what I'm really excited for is seeing Juji and Mongols. Like Juji and Mongols in BC's hands can be very interesting to watch.
Yeah, I think the Juji's probably prioritized around the whole Olympic, right? Like we've seen a lot of people, if they can't get the premium choice at the beginning, like we said, Japanese rates up highly. Juji being in there late on kind of feels like a little bit of a jackpot, I'd say. Obviously, we're going to be opening up on Dry Arabia, and looking at these drafts, is there anything that kind of sings to you, Crackety, on like what you'd expect opening picks? I mean, Ottomans, Delhi seems like a no-brainer for Beastie, right?
Yeah, something like Ottoman or Delhi. I could also see like the Jean being the first civilization for BC to go for, because if it's potentially like Byzantines pick from PuppyPaw, having Jean against Byzantines feels really good.
Ooh, and it is going to be, in fact, the Delhi opening up. So surprising considering Dabston, like we've got Lipany to look forward to potentially. I mean, then again, we have to remember, right? There's going to be a redraft at 4. So I think this is the thing that's deceptive to what we've been seeing in previous tournaments. Is not every map is going to be you seeing every Civ played here, right? Like once we're 4 in, we wipe it and we draft again.
Yeah, I feel like that's always exciting, especially on the extended series. There kind of were times in previous tournaments where if you got into a game 6 or 7, there'd be a matchup that was just so tilted it felt like it was kind of game over before it started. And this is where with the redraft, you don't get that kind of negative side effect. You get the redraft. You also get to kind of mind game your opponent with how the first series went. Did you kind of have a tilted series? Did you play JD really, really well, and now your opponent's going to ban it out and kind of change up the whole game plan from there? So it's always very interesting to see. But right off the bat, I'm most excited to actually see the new and improved, updated Byzantines in action for the first time in tournament play over here.
Oh man, I actually can't believe it got through. I mean, Crackedy, I know you've been practicing, you've been optimizing, you'll be nerding out about the first 5-10 minutes. And this is interesting as well because I believe we saw this in the playoffs already from PuppyPaw, right? I think it was his series versus, I want to say it was up against Vortex, where it was the Delhi Byzantine game, and he demolished him in under 15 minutes with the Hippodrome build. That was before the patch.
Yeah, and now after the patch, that build is gonna be even stronger. We're getting the longbows out really, really early now. Potentially longbows at least. Could also be something like Keshik play as well. We've seen Keshik time and time again being used, especially against civilization like the Delhi. Personally, I'm still a big fan of the longbows. You get 5 of them immediately. Perfect amount of 2-shot villagers, perfect amount of 2-shot spearmen. Overall, just a great amount in there again. And Delhi at the same time, if you played correctly, which in this situation would be you pump out a lot of Ghazi Raiders immediately, enough in order to not just overwhelm the horsemen from the Byzantines, but also the longbowmen as well.
I think like I don't know if we're 100% going to see the Hippodrome. I feel like PuppyPaw leans there quite heavily, Dabston, right? Like him and Wham, I think have been building Hippodrome more than anyone else. But if we get there, I think one very big sticking point with the Byzantines has been that first Triumph charge. It feels like it has to do something really impactful, or that's usually where we see a lot of these Hippodrome builds fall apart.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of where with the first horseman right off the bat, it's one where I'd love to see Beasty, trying to be greedy with moving out with the scholars, and that's where you can pick up a scholar right off the bat, delay some sacred site timing, or go, it's hard with Delhi because usually they pull off the gold and then they're heavy onto food, they're heavy onto their wood line. So it's like, what can you actually pressure with the horseman? You kind of end up running around for a little bit and just kind of waiting and watching for that scholar move out time.
I think that's the kind of interesting thing, right, boys? Like, with the changes we've been seeing in the meta, with Byzantines being newly explored in the early game, especially Crackedy, Delhi are all about these optimized timings, these timings that players have played on repetition to a tedious point. That first 20 minutes, almost perfecto. But I think the thing we saw in the Vortex PuppyPaw game is one scholar flopping straight away unraveled everything. And, that took away the double production device. That took away from any sort of gold trickle for him whatsoever. And another kind of crazy thing that I think makes the Byzantines quite good at that early phase is the way the systems ramp up their own production, right? It's almost like you get a mini Delhi effect as the game goes on.
Yeah, exactly. Just having the cisterns there in the back, like you start off immediately with 10% faster gathering speed, then you go up to 14%, 18%, 22%, 26% later on down the line. It's quite heavy. It's quite heavy, and not just are you gathering food, you're also gathering olive oil as well from the berries. It's kind of where Delhi usually shines, like those early 7 minutes where they have a lot of units out on the field, where they're able to take map control, take sacred sites. If at that point in time Byzantines have a really great army to be able to contest that completely, that's when Delhi can struggle.
And we have to remember like the Byzantine buffs. If you think they're insignificant, they're not big enough. I mean, I had Philisberto. We all know Philisberto. He was in my chat the other day. He's like, I'm actually going to be maining Byzantines this series. I was like,
Oh god.
that says everything it needs to about how buff these guys are. For anyone who doesn't know that guy, he basically is the most prolific Mongol spammer, and he's giving it up in favor of the Byzantines. Says everything it needs to, Dabston. So when we look at the other side of this, we look at Delhi, is it a situation where BC's going to have to play a long feudal? Do we look towards maybe a castle out here?
I mean, this is one of the things I find it funny where Delhi, it's always brought up by pros. They're like, hey, we need to kind of have some sort of update with Delhi because they're so one-dimensional. I feel like they have to play the sacred sites. They have to play that kind of feudal sacred sites into castle from there. And so it almost plays into the Byzantines' hands. PuppyPaw's going to know exactly what BC's going to be doing, what he has in mind, and have the game plan to try to stop that exact thing.
I think you're right about that. Delhi usually feel one-dimensional. I mean, I think it says everything it needs to that in this game, if one player is likely to build elephants, I don't think it's the Delhi, right? Like, that says everything it needs to about the state of the Delhi. Don't know if we're going to get treated to that absurdity, but we're going to find out. It's time for our second semi-finals. Marine Lord is waiting for an opponent in the finals. Beasty versus PuppyPaw, best of 7, and we kick off on Dry Arabia.
The classic Dry Arabia to start this second and last series of the day. PuppyPaw on the Byzantines in the color red. Beasty on the Delhi Sultanate in the west side in the color yellow.
All right. Wait a second. That's an opening I haven't seen before.
Oh,
Or I haven't seen recently, at least. Olive Grove opening with a cistern. So he's not starting out on the berries at all. Instead, he's making Olive Grove very early on here. That's interesting.
I mean, this is one thing where I will say it at least makes it to where food resources don't quite become as scary to deal with. And
he's gonna need it. He doesn't have any sheep right now, this guy.
Yeah, there was a reason why I kind of went mute there. Is right off the bat we see Beasty with a haul, and PuppyPaw's scout was barren, but at least was able to find 2 extra sheep on the way in his little circle. And this just is a huge feels bad for PuppyPaw.
Yeah, I mean, BC still has a lot of sheep probably remaining when he's walking back there. There's still a lot of the map that is right now unscouted. And this is unlucky. This happens sometimes with the sheep distribution. Sometimes you can get really, really unlucky with how the sheep spawn because it's not usually like symmetrical on the map. So scout pathing makes a huge difference there. And it's going to become really, really unfortunate if PuppyPaw now goes to the left-hand side of his map, which it looks like he's going to be doing. And chances are he is not going to be finding a lot of sheep in that direction.
Yeah, and this is one of those just huge feels bad moments. Kind of like it does kind of get you a little bit tilted, I would say. At least when I'm playing, that's sheep is an easy thing to get me tilted. And I wish we could see chat right now. You see a little bit of some nice sheep emote in there, even though I don't think it's happening. But it would be hilarious if it did.
Oh man, okay, Grand Winery instead, going up here now for PuppyPaw. So we're not seeing that Hippodrome opening instead. Grand Winery is going to provide him with a lot of olive oil as well. And it makes sense going for the Grand Winery here because he has the berries perfectly in the back, which means the Grand Winery is going to be very nice and secure in the back of his base. Tower Victory is going to be going up here for BC now. We can still hear the sheep getting collected.
Yeah, I mean, this is just such a feels bad. The amount of food difference in here is just, it's in the thousands.
Yeah.
It's, we're at
16 sheep.
What is it, 23
4K,
total?
yeah, but it's 4K food under a TC from Beasty. That's a number. That is a number. That's like 2 boars. Yeah. Oh, man.
And it feels even better when you've started on the berries. You haven't even really had to take any of your original sheep, and you got other close berries if you want them, and deer as well. His backside deer is one easy wall on that wood line to the edge of the map. So really nice little spawn there for Beasty. But PuppyPaw's about to have his Grand Winery finish. He fortunately dropped that early olive grove, so has been at least getting a little bit of olive oil, but more importantly, not depleting his food as much as it could be.
Yeah, PuppyPaw should still be fine here in the end. He's going to be getting the berries, and overall, sure, it hinders your immediate army potential. But it could be worse. It definitely could be worse. He managed to find 6 sheep in total in the end. Usually you want to be at like 8 to 9-ish sheep. It's not the worst. I think the thing that hurts the most is that, sure, not only are you not getting the sheep, but most importantly, your opponent is getting the sheep. So when it comes to raiding, the villagers are going to move out onto the map very, very late compared to your own when it comes to getting resources. And I think we're going to be seeing some deer laming here.
Oh, absolutely. We know the deer laming is imminent, as it is just one of those easy ways to annoy your opponent, cause some inefficiencies later on. I always find it so funny when, you're going over to take the deer, you'll drop a mill, and all of a sudden you look back and you're like, where are the deer? I guess deer aren't here anymore. And this is going to be what, 3 mills probably need to be dropped here for this deer pack?
It's not going to be efficient. Definitely not going to be efficient. And yeah, this is going to hurt. This is going to hurt. The deer are forward as well. I wouldn't be surprised if PuppyPaw just completely ignores it and just goes for a straight up farm transition. Because in theory, going for farm transition as Byzantines, it's a lot easier than for other civilizations. Not only do you pay 15 wood less for every single farm, you're also getting 8 stone return for every single farm that you build, as well as getting the olive oil passively. So you're going to be getting a lot of additional units out that way.
Yeah, you're almost like a little mini English over there, as it just doesn't quite cost as much. PuppyPaw already has the OP spear unit, the Limitanai out protecting his gold, and Beasty's massing up those Gazis just like you were mentioning.
Seeing some javelin throwers coming out here for PuppyPaw, so did go for the Silk Path contract. Couple of Ghazi Raiders are going to be out and about now. Beasty is going to try and harass from different angles, both on the gold as well as over on the berries. Limitani is out there as well, and we do see the Akratoy defenses getting activated here, so the villagers do pull a spear or two and tell that Ghazi Raider, hey, you're not welcome here.
A couple more spears in queue for Puppy, and it's just going to be, mass spears, which I will say that was the one nerf that we actually saw from the Byzantine side, was that the shield wall isn't quite as strong as it once was. Oh, cisterns didn't get connected.
I think he's working on it now, though.
Yeah.
So should be getting connected relatively soon. That's an additional 4% income, rather when it comes to efficiency. And now the first couple of javelin throwers just came out. So far, Beasty, he's on double blacksmith and is now sending out his scholars out on the map. The timing could be interesting here, just because so far he didn't opt into making any archers. It's all just Ghazi Raiders so far.
Yeah, PuppyPaw, in theory, could move out with those Limitanai and the couple jab throwers he has, and the jabs will be great in sniping out the scholars from taking those sacred sites. Looks like Beasty is greeting all the way for the southern sacred site, maybe? I can't tell if that's a scholar moving on the way or not.
I think it is. It's very slow, so it must be a scholar that's moving there on the southern side. And indeed it is. Oh, that's going to be beautiful for PuppyPaw here with the reed sending the Limitany over there. Just gonna wait until it starts being capped, and at the same time, oh, no spearmen out there on the berries. Villagers will have to be pulled back.
Very quick reaction though from PuppyPaw. Beasty just trying to break that cistern, make that 4% gathering efficiency not quite there anymore. Scouts battling against a Ghazi, but more importantly, the scholar now gets forced on away and might end up getting picked off here as Beasty's got a long way to run. And nope, PuppyPaw just runs on away.
Yeah, I guess you only just want to make sure that Sacred Site isn't getting captured. Beasty's now adding in archers as well. PuppyPaw already has 8 javelin throwers though. Should be in a position to potentially take fights. The main issue with that is that Beasty, he's keeping the Ghazi Raiders in the back of PuppyPaw's base, which makes it very difficult at this point in time for Puppy to really move out, just because of the looming threat of those Ghazi Raiders always being there in the back of your base at any point in time, potentially diving you. So you're probably going to need at least 2, 3, maybe even 4 Limitany that you keep on your resource in the back of your base.
Ooh, maybe able to pick off one Ghazi, but loses a scout for it. Nope, picks off another Ghazi on the backside behind it. does have vision of the majority of the Ghazi mass, but right as I say that, he has the scout lost, and BC's going to circle back around with that again. I've seen so many games where BC does this. He'll just kind of grab the sacred sites, force his opponent out on the map, and as they're trying to deny sacred sites and has the army out and about, he'll just hit the wood line or wherever the massive villagers are with the 8 to 10 Ghazis that he has.
Yeah, it looks like that's going to be the case here once again. Does PuppyPaw have any spearmen remaining in his base? He's going to need some because the Ghazi are running back over there. The berries have also run out at this point in time, and PuppyPaw is going for that early farm transition.
He does have a single one there, does see the mass. So again, Cistern is just looking to get disconnected from the other. Aqueduct burnt, and I love the little oh, 2 health.
Oh, they don't burn. It's water. They don't burn.
Right. Oh wow! And villagers are pulled on back, and PuppyPaw does not allow the disconnection to happen.
Oh, this could be. Oh, he's falling in the berries. Oh, okay. Sure.
Well,
but Castle Age, that's a great Castle Age timing here, considering how many units are out in the field right now for PuppyPaw. But yeah, the berries look to definitely be denied here. That is not going to be something that he'll have access to right now. Sitting on 60 olive oil per minute. Sure, that's just from the couple of olive groves that he has. The question is going to be, can PuppyPaw get relics here?
another Ghazi trade. Main army from Beasty has moved over to continue to have that sacred site secured. PuppyPaw needs to just fall back, wait for some of those Castle Age upgrades. How much more food is he going to have left that is safe? As I'm sure BC's going to, not only we see this being walled, I believe he has a Ghazi circling around the backside berries if PuppyPaw tries to head that way.
Yeah, I'm not sure which villagers PuppyPaw even sent to build that mill there. I guess it was the ones that were aging up. Age up, now coming in. And what unit is it going to be? Is he just going to upgrade? Okay, upgrade on Javelin Throwers is coming in first. Is he going to upgrade his Midnight, or is it just going to be like a massive span of Varanging God? It's going to be both. So first Varanging God is going to be on queue. Added a lot of additional barracks. And is now also going to be upgrade on his Midnight.
Oh, gold villagers need to watch out. Jump inside the outpost that's right there next to the gold. But BC has denied the gold for the time being. Villagers that were out on the deer have been denied as well. So really, really good timing here. And PuppyPaw will be forced to the backside berries that a Ghazi is waiting at.
Yeah, depending on how many villagers he's going to send over there, he's able to just take down the Ghazi Raider with the villagers. The main issue that's going to follow up with that is that BC's going to be aware that he's going to be going out to berries.
PuppyPaw, though, does... Well, actually, still waiting on that Varangian Guard to pop on out. But upgrades have come through for his military units, and Compound of the Defender is on the way. The key here for PuppyPaw that he has in his advantage is upgrades are so much quicker.
The woodline, Ghazi Raiders in the woodline.
Yep.
Of PuppyPaw. Exactly. One went down, 2 went down. Oh, it's going to be 4.
4, yeah. And then more villagers on the olive groves. It's just BC's so good about this. It's just you stop it so well the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, but just the one single time you're looking away and not ready, he takes advantage. Circling around to where the berry villagers were. Another villager or 2 might get taken out here. Maybe even more than that. BC in the midst of it. He wants to just get away with his Ghazis instead. Keep his army alive after the trades that he just made. And he's been able to keep the sacred sites secure behind this with at least 2.
Yeah. Behind that, though, PuppyPaw is at the very least able to start gathering up some of the relics. He managed to take one from the side of Beasty, I believe. He's got that one on the way. He's got one in the back of his base. If he gets 3 relics, he's going to be in a really, really great position here, able to fill out that Grand Winery. 240 additional olive oil per minute is really going to help him advance his production of mercenaries there. And having Janissaries is going to be really great here against an army composition mostly consisting of crossbows and archers at this point in time. So the army composition right now from PuppyPaw is looking really, really good here.
That just needs more and more of those units to keep popping out and make sure he has food secured for the long run, which those olive groves in the early on has definitely saved his life, to say the least. Because if he had just been on natural resources, I feel like this game would already been over.
Yeah. Something I also have to mention is that behind this Beasty right now, he's on those natural resources. He's on the berries, he's on the deer. That's going to run out eventually. Sure, he's gotten a lot of sheep, a lot of additional sheep. Those are going to run out eventually, and once that happens, once he needs to go for a farm transition, if PuppyPaw has enough units to stop that from happening, as another raid is happening in the wood line, ooh, PuppyPaw really needs to watch out for those.
Just one single villager taken out so far. Olive groves, though, yet again idled, and I think one more villager might have been taken out on the way out.
Yeah, BC's doing such a great job of just keeping PuppyPaw inside of his base, and now the issue is the villagers on the berries, once again, all are getting idled as they run away now from that looming threat.
That's so much of PuppyPaw's economy idled right now. He's trying to head back that way, but the villagers are going to get there way sooner than the army. If Beasty reacts, oh my gosh.
He's not going to be there. And PuppyPaw is going to close the wall. Maybe if he's got units still on the wood line, he might be able to pinch in the units from Beasty. It's just
they're so slow.
The villagers in the wood line have to move.
Yep, Beasty's just gonna run right on by yet again. This is the problem with the infantry armies against, you know, people who just have great unit control, great micro. Beasty's just done such a good job at keeping those Gazis alive, continuing to idle, continuing to raid and do damage. Puppy, though, finally able to get a few more picked off. Will it make up for that 9 difference? They're about, well, they are dead even on the military count.
Yeah, behind this, PuppyPaw managed to he got 2 relics against Delhi, which definitely isn't bad. So he's getting 160 bonus olive oil per minute here. He's getting more javelin throws out. He's getting a couple of camel riders out. Camel riders, which are great, by the way, just for having them against the Ghazi raiders as well. Get some units out over there. He's going to be able to start decapping some of the sacred sites. An issue is going to come in when Beasty starts to get keeps out on sacred sites, when it comes to other resources, and start booming that way. And now, once again, the moment PuppyPaw wants to move out, Beasty, he's going to distract him in his base. I think at this point, though, PuppyPaw might just want, like, he's so far forward, he just might want to commit onto villagers here.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what he's going to end up doing. It looks like Beasty hasn't made any sort of farm transition, so he's on all the different spots on the map with food resources, which Delhi is known for. They love their pocket eco. They take all that map control, and they are all over the place. And PuppyPaw is just going to try to take advantage of that, continue to press on in to Beasty's eco, but he has stuff to worry about at home. Good thing is he's had more units massing up there, has some jab throwers, has some spears trying to clean that on up.
Now Beasty's villagers are going to have to run. He had a lot of villagers out there on the deer. Now he's going to need to worry about those. Has some units there of his own. Is it going to be enough, though? Because the army from PuppyPaw, it's quite big, and it's full of counter units as well.
PuppyPaw split off a couple units over to the west side berries, I believe, as well. So Beasty has a ton of units idled, or villagers idled, and units, though, massed up together. This could be bad for PuppyPaw, as it looks like the majority of Beasty's army is here. Is this the fight he's going to end up taking? Ghazi's circling around on the backside. Yep, javelins, though, they're just hitting the Ghazis for the time being. The ranged mass is cleaning up PuppyPaw's front side quite quickly. Ghazis did end up getting cleaned up, but PuppyPaw, it didn't actually end up quite as bad as expected. He's been doing some raids on the other side, just not even equalizing the eco number yet, though.
Yeah, behind all of this, though, PuppyPaw, he still has a lot of units out on the field. So it's not like his entire military just got swiped. And now we got a couple of Varangian guards with Berserking, killing a couple more of Beasty's villagers out there. And still not quite there yet when it comes to equalizing the economy. Oh, this could be deadly, though. PuppyPaw, he's got a lot of villagers out on the deer. And Beasty knows he's pulling all of his units over there to those deer.
There's double outposts, though. Is that a Mangonel emplacement? I think that was a Mangonel emplacement.
Yeah, it must be Mangonel emplacement. Is it going to be enough, though?
Oh, I don't think it's in range.
It must just not be in range, like just barely. There are only 2 men-at-arms.
There's only 5 villagers here right now. BC has like 6 more coming this way. Will PuppyPaw's army get there in time? You can see the red blob pulling over on this side of the map. More villagers jump inside the outpost. Other villagers get pulled. Maybe they pull their shivs out. Who knows?
Oh, the units from PuppyPaw are coming from the other hand side. Is it going to be enough? Is it going to be in time, most importantly? I think the keep might be going up. It's so close.
Oh, there's a big amount of villagers get lost, but there it is. Beasty gets the keep up. This will deny the deer. Villagers, they don't need to burn the keep. They need to run. Don't get your villagers back out.
Oh, he still has 5 trapped inside the outpost there. I don't think he can get them out anytime soon. Needs to get another emplacement out on that outpost to make sure that it might actually be able to take down a keep if he gets the fortification on. And indeed, that's going to be in queue up next. 17 to 9 villagers right now.
I mean,
oh man,
PuppyPaw is down, 10 villagers, so it makes sense. He's trying to go over to those berries yet again. He's just going to burn the walls with the villagers. He needs food, and he needs food bad. He cannot drop more olive groves. He can't afford that right now. He's at 150 wood per minute. It's just he needs every resource he can.
Beasty, though, he's also struggling for food. He's about to run out of the deer at the top side. He wanted to keep up on PuppyPaw's deer in order to be able to take those. And having that be denied by those double outposts means that now he needs to look for another food source.
Yeah, and we know that the deli are not allowed to grab that boar. Not a good trade here from BC. Looks like he was, I'm not sure. Oh, he was headed towards those villagers that took the...
finishing the wall.
Wait, is he going to have something to drop off? Oh, he's going to build a gate.
Yeah, he needs to build a gate, but it's funny. He's using Beasty's wall now to finish that off. Ram gets out, though, but I think a mangonel emplacement outpost can actually take down a ram. I think you need 2 with fortification. I'm not sure if that, especially since it's focusing the mill first. Okay, never mind. Now it's getting retargeted.
Knowing Beasty, he'll pull the ram back and have villagers rebuild it once it starts getting lower. But PuppyPaw, he's at least extending this, he's stalling this, but the villager count's going to start getting out of hand as we saw villagers popping out of that keep that was forward from Beasty.
Yeah, so he now has additional TCs inside of that keep pretty much. But that's also a lot of food that you're putting into villages, right? And he needs to make a farm transition. Oh, the ram barely survives.
Deer that we just saw. Looks like it will get cleaned on up. So PuppyPaw's doing the best he can to equalize these build count numbers, deny sacred sites, do everything he can. And the big red blob is pushing across the map again. Beasty having to pull on back. A lot more villagers will start going down here. And the military is favoring PuppyPaw by a decent little bit here, but not the army value.
The army value is deceiving because the javelin throwers don't count into army value still.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah. Oh, because the olive oil.
Yeah. Olive oil units don't count into the army value. I think if PuppyPaw gets to a point where he's able to get some siege out now, he could be looking to deny the keeps. Like, as soon as those keeps go out, BC is going to lose out on a lot of value. These keeps right now are pretty much keeping him in the game. If PuppyPaw gets like 3 traps out and starts taking down the keeps, like there aren't any farms from BC right now. He's not getting any food from anything right now.
BC, though, diving the TC of PuppyPaw. He's got, 15 villagers inside that TC. Ram starting to take down some of those olive groves, but PuppyPaw diving the TC of Beasty. This is just full-on base trades, but who's going to win that with keeps and extra TCs? In my opinion, it's Deli, especially he's got 900 wood in the bank. He can start just dropping farms around his keeps.
He's going to something with it. Instead, he's investing into a mangonel at this point in time. And now, Beasty, after clearing out the outpost, he is going to go out on the deer. But there are some units from PuppyPaw looping around, potentially, could be just in the sweet spot when it comes to range to be able to take those villagers down.
Oh, Wololo is going to be attempted from Beasty. Mangonel does pop out. Javelin throwers have not reacted yet. Beasty's villagers on the deers. A little bit slow here. Wololo goes down. PuppyPaw quick reaction running towards that mangonel now. Crossbows will help clean that up, but not before the mango falls. And Beasty, he lost a ton of villagers over on these deer. He's still look at his food per minute. He literally has
it's
two
not
food
there.
he has 2 food right now. Has 2 tin for food per minute. Those were the villagers on that deer. He needs farms. He's got 800 wood. This is where like just drop some around one of those keeps. Get something safe.
More villagers now going down here as they run away from the army. And
This
now
is
PuppyPaw's
wild.
making trebuchets. It's so many keeps though, Dabston. How many keeps is that? 4 or 5 keeps right now out from Beasty on the map, but he doesn't have food to produce even villagers from.
Yeah, we did just see the farm transition happening in between the keeps. So that's about 8 to 10 farms. That's going to be enough to like produce out of half these keeps. He's going to need a lot more to actually start producing a military mass that is worth anything. The good thing for him, he's got 33 villagers on wood and more farms are continuing to be dropped. Soon enough, we'll see that food count jump up to 20 or so.
There are 12 javelin throws in queue. Okay, now it's 8. With the golden horn tower as well, like PuppyPaw is getting so many units out for free right now.
Yeah, PuppyPaw does have that unit mass. He needs treb after treb after treb, or rams after ram after ram, because that is what you said it earlier. The keeps is what is allowing BC to stay alive in this game.
Yeah, I think if we're getting up to 3 keeps, 3 trebuchets, Puppy can just push keep after keep after keep, or maybe even just go for the front keeps in front of BC space. I think what PuppyPaw needs to do is focus the keeps where the food transition is happening around. So those keeps right in front of BC space, where he's getting all of his farms in, that's where you need to attack.
Yeah, if he attacks there, Beasty's not going to be able to produce military. We haven't seen a military unit come out for Beasty in the last like 10 minutes. Not 10 minutes. That's an exaggeration. Like 2 minutes it feels like though, as I haven't seen anything in queue. But PuppyPaw first, starting with the keep on his side. Those few villagers on the deer, which will be some food, but not Beasty's heart of his food anymore, as that food transition is almost fully finished, as I see like a 4th set of farms now getting dropped for BC.
Yeah, that's a lot of farms that he just dropped. But he's going to be getting a lot of food here really soon. He's still getting all of the stone. Pretty much he's mining all of the stone out on the map. So PuppyPaw won't even be able to get any keeps up himself. He's getting stone from somewhere. Oh, he's got another stone mine inside of space, so that's where he's getting stone from.
It does have that big stone vein where the wall is. Has a few rams that have been produced, or I guess the Serosiphons. I don't know how to say it.
Kerosiphon, yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so a few of those are coming on out to burn down some of the keeps as well. But I feel like he's focusing the different ones. BC still has a long way to go as far as military mass, though. He is way far behind and needs a lot of this food economy to not only be online like it is now, but to be transitioned into military, as he still isn't producing.
Yeah, a big issue is that sure he's now getting a lot of food, but he's using it all for villager production. Like with this many keeps, he's using like, what is it? 600 food, 700, maybe even more, like 900 food per minute just in order to be able to make villagers out of every single keeps.
And
It's
just
a lot,
like
and they're
that,
starting to get taken down.
yep, one keep falls, and Puppy should be able to snowball this to the next keep and then to the next keep. So Beasty, he's trying to quick wall for stone walls. And again, this is where villagers, instead of being on
this would've
valuable
used last
resources,
patch.
building more military, they're building stone walls. Puppy's so close to seeing this and being able to deny this.
Oh, this would have really worked well in the last patch, but now in this patch, the Rams from the Byzantines actually are able to do damage to walls. Would you believe it? Like, they're actually able to take down walls.
And there's some of the farms that BC has dropped. So again, PuppyPaw starting to get closer and closer to the side that he needs to the focus he needs to. One thing we haven't commented on, PuppyPaw, he is 2 TCs behind this. So he's not quite dead out of the water in terms of eco, and he has all of the cisterns being boosted all the way up to tier number 5, 27 olive grows, so has the extra resource coming in, which means more military.
Yeah, his food income is going to look really, really good here, especially since he's also getting a ton of olive oil. So overall, military-wise, 66 units out on the field. He's starting to get more siege in. He definitely needs it, and he really needs to like start burning down keeps, like taking down some of these keeps now that Beasty has. Just hit him where the food economy is, because I think actually is Beasty aiming to go imp?
Oh my gosh, it might be an imp play behind all of this, which okay? Question mark?
It gives you roller shutter Springle triggers. Actually, he can't afford it though, right? Like, I mean, he can because it doesn't cost anything, but it's gonna take a while to research. What does he get? Hand cannoneers? But they're javelin throwers.
I mean, either way, he's getting Palace of the Sultan.
Oh, that's bad as well. You can't go Palace of the... It needs it needs to be Hisar Academy because of the javelin throws.
And here it
javelin
is.
throwers do so well against the
PuppyPaw though.
Against the elephants.
Look at he's matching the timing.
He is. Oh, please make a pal. Oh, it is going to be for an engineering company. I would have loved to see Palatine School just for like the sheer mass, and just overrun. Because right now, I mean, Beasty, sure, he's got a lot of villagers out, but not a ton of military, not at all.
And we talked about it. You don't get anything from, like, yes, you unlock Imperial Age techs and units, but with Delhi, it takes a lot of time. BC does have 7 scholars, so it's still what, like, instead of 7 minutes, it's 6. Like,
it's gonna take a while. I'm suspecting a lot of these techs taking like 4 or 5 minutes to come in. Can we actually just check with the stable, see how long that takes? 3 minutes for Elite, 7 minutes for Armored Beast. I guess it's 7 minutes unless he has a scholar inside of the building to boost it by double.
And another keep falls, and rather quickly as well, with everything focusing that and closer to getting to the heart of Beastie's eco.
The cannon support is going to be great there.
He's getting a cannon as well.
Oh my.
Is that a French cannon? Is that a French cannon?
Yeah, it is. It is from the foreign engineering company, so it does actually have bonus damage as well.
And Beastie, he still is not where he needs to be on the military numbers. PuppyPaw, though, it looks like he's turning away.
Yeah, it's just a lot of keeps, right? Like, there's 3 keeps in front of Beastie's base. It's really tough to engage, and now a lot of mangonels out there as well. PuppyPaw, he's massing up bombards, but still, it feels really tough against this many mangonels and just siege. Beastie really knows how to play around that, but the Springles get targeted on instantly. Goodbye, Springles. More will need to be made. Needs to be careful. His bombard, it's not really getting protected right now. Should be enough units in theory to protect it in time. Does it take a lot of damage? Oh,
it's cleaned up. He's at half health, maybe. A quarter health. Ooh. Quite close to getting taken down. BC has a lot of villagers on that front side gold. He's got a backside gold behind this. Farms will slowly be taken down by this ram due to the front side flames, and ram does fall, but Mangonel's left out to dry. Varangian guards headed towards him. Crossbows
comes out.
Men-at-arms, they step on forward, so the Mangos are able to still stay alive. There's so many javelin throwers behind this that haven't been able to be focused by the Mangonels yet.
He's pulling a lot of villagers to repair that.
He knows how important this location is, but it falls, and all the villagers now have nowhere to go. BC's up 60 vills, but he has no military. He has no defenses other than those keep masses, and PuppyPaw says, yeah, you like keeps? I'll show you a keep. I'm going to drop one right in your face on top of these farms because you can't stop it.
Yeah, and there's a lot of Varangians in queue behind us. He's also getting the Berserking upgrade, so these are going to be really fast. A really great raiding unit here. Beastie, he's making a lot of men-at-arms now, but against the elite Varangian guards, I'm not sure if it's going to be enough. It's going to take a while for elite army tactics to come in for him. Granted, PuppyPaw, he's missing a lot of blacksmith upgrades at this point in time, but it might just be that he has enough here. Roller Shutter Trigger still not in yet. It's just about to come through, but I think right now the Bombards, if they turn around, they could still one-shot those Springles just about.
Villagers here to heal up those cannons as well. Keep not yet started for PuppyPaw. He put that outline a while ago. The villagers took a while to get there, but he did not just bring a few. He brought about 15 there. Springles did get taken down so quickly.
Javelin throws, they take him down. The bonus damage, not like this. The javelin throws absolutely destroy the Springles there. And Beasty's pulling villagers. He's got enough to pull them.
He's got a nest of bees.
There's no bonus damage anymore on villagers.
So many javelin throwers, so much military here for Puppy, and all of a sudden that military or that eco count lead has just completely been obliterated because PuppyPaw has olive oil extra behind this, has sacred sites as well, and has so much military. But Beasty has evened the numbers on the military. Numbers aren't the whole story, though. It needs to be here in the right location. Siege mass still favoring Puppy by a heavy amount.
There's a lot more units coming out, though, behind all this. But the keep, if it goes up, it also denies a lot of the gold here, like the forward gold. And Beasty wanted that. He put down a mining camp for it. Is Beasty going to be able to potentially deny it? He's moving forward. Magano, though, gets focused out.
Crossbows on the front side. Javelin thrower is going to try to focus down the crossbows that are killing down the villagers. Villagers should be able to finish it, but it's so close. Mangonel can't decide what it wants to attack. 3 villagers, 2 villagers. It's going to get denied. It gets denied. PuppyPaw does not get the keep up.
Bonus of bees. Tries to keep the front line. It is so difficult right now to keep that front line. Are more villagers being pulled? I'm not sure if more villagers are going to be the answer here. Bombards, though, actually doing a great job there of taking units down.
More villagers are being pulled. Beasty might just body block this choke point, though. He's got to go around the walls. You can't go through this choke point. You can't go through this choke point.
He's going through it.
PuppyPaw, stop it.
He's committing. He's committing. It's going to go up, but
somehow he got there. Jump inside. Oh, that is absolutely wild. Numbers for military, though, still pretty even. Beasty's up 45 villagers. He's had this massive farm transition behind this, and those farms have been working for a while. Trev finally gets taken out. Keeps, and all of these keeps are TCs. PuppyPaw, he only has 2 TCs.
Oh, man. Oh, man. What a game this has become. And behind all of this, the upgrades are ticking. Beasty, he has 5 scholars in queue. He's at over 2k gold per minute right now. He's just vacuumed up that large gold mine there in the north. And now also getting down his own bombards.
PuppyPaw, though, he has a non-stop onslaught of units headed across this map. That is one thing that the Byzantines, they are great at doing. It's once you start producing those military units, you can just keep that production going.
If he has enough Varangian here, he might just be able to take down the bombards really, really quickly. And let's not forget, for military count, Beasty, 10 of his military units, they're scholars.
Yep. Bombard, though, taking down that keep that PuppyPaw put so much into. PuppyPaw's 0 stone. He's not on any of the stones. He does have a lot of Varangians. Will they get there in time? PuppyPaw. Villagers.
He didn't use Berserking. It's going down.
The keep falls. The Varangians are stepping on forward. PuppyPaw's going for sacred sites. Maybe that's going to be his win condition, or at least put a timer on Beasty.
He needs to overwhelm. I feel like he needs to overwhelm, like right now.
Yep. Needs to keep sending it through. There's so many keeps still in Beasty's eco, but you can definitely split off Varangian guards into all these different spots. Keeps will only do so much, and there it is. There's so much of the farm eco now that Beasty's about to get idled on, and he needs all those farm ecos working because his military got wiped.
Oh, he's getting a lot of Springles out now as well. Food income doesn't actually look that great for him at this point in time. He doesn't have the last food upgrade right now. Beasty has every single upgrade behind it. I think he kind of also threw a couple of the Varangians away without the Nest of Bees to support against the crossbows there. Lost a lot of his military. Needs to be careful with those.
Trying to take gold on Beasty's side. PuppyPaw back onto stone a little bit. Might want to try to get a keep on up. Villagers here to keep the nested bees alive, but not able to do so as it gets sniped on out.
Yeah, Springles did manage to get that. Camels are there now with the camel support. Provide a lot more armor there for those units. Right now, PuppyPaw, he's missing a backline. He needs a ranged unit to be able to take down these crossbows because Beasty has a lot of them. It needs to either be horsemen or just mass javelin throwers, but he's not producing javelin throwers right now.
Yeah, he's producing camel riders as his choice there with the camel support. Villagers on that front side need to watch out. Crossbows stepping on up. Springled sniped down one of PuppyPaw's Springled. Beasty, as always, doing such a good job with this siege micro, but right as I say that, I jinx it. He throws away all of his Springleds. At least was able to pick up the cannon on PuppyPaw's side first.
He's at 150 eco units. Oh, man.
Oh, PuppyPaw's going for that gold that Beasty has already demolished. And look at the north side of the map. Beasty has full boomed up there. He has a whole nother eco there.
Yeah, I think PuppyPaw at this point in time, he needs to add something else, something more mobile. He needs horsemen. These crossbows, they do such a great job right now of taking down the Varangian guards. They don't have as much health as normal men-at-arms, let's not forget that. And behind that, PuppyPaw, he's missing out still on a lot of blacksmith upgrades.
Yeah, I mean, he's still sitting not even at Castle Age blacksmith upgrades. He's got one single Castle Age blacksmith upgrade, which is ranged. Other than that, he's still missing out on a lot of the eco techs as well that you would want at this point.
Behind this Beastie, he's just mining this map bare right now. Chopping all the trees with 150 villagers. It's happening really, really quickly as well. Large gold mine did just vanish, but there was one small gold mine which now is completely engulfed by villagers.
Yeah, PuppyPaw dropped a keep right there on the edge of the map. Beasty spotted out with some Ghazi Raiders, but ultimately it just feels like Beasty is playing his game, which is drain the map dry. Yeah, he might be Delhi, but he's gotten to the point where Delhi upgrades have finished, some of them at least, and others are coming on through. So he's actually ahead in the upgrade count and has a lot more free ones and just needs time for him.
Yeah, exactly. Beastie tries to go for a keep. That one, yeah, I doubt that one would go up. Siege, though, is trading out. We now also have some Libitinae here. If they activate the shield wall, it would be quite a nice unit to have here against this front line, the back line here from Beastie. There we go. Elephants also getting surrounded. Bonus movement speed on them. Means they're very quick when it comes to that surround.
Looks like Beastie's stepping on up, though, and it just feels like PuppyPaw has been losing steam consistently. And Beastie, he's sitting here max population, max resources, just floating resources, and should be able to reclaim this map control, even though he kind of already has all these different pockets all over.
Beastie, though, he used up a lot of his gold on these elephants. And now they're getting taken down. He doesn't have that much gold left anymore, and his income for gold also doesn't look that great. He still has a small gold mine up there in the north and in front of his base as well. Needs to be able to get it, though. Access it, though. The Ghazi Raiders. PuppyPaw, has he not noticed yet? They're taking down his entire food economy right now.
He must not be noticing, as this is one of those invisible horseman raid. He finally reacts to it, sends a few units, but look at the other stream coming across right in front of where PuppyPaw actually had a keep, and he's headed right to Puppy's wood economy, his overall economy, and PuppyPaw is bleeding now, and it is starting to become a little bit difficult to stop the bleeding here too.
Ghazi Raider is streaming in now. Beastie making use of all of his food income right now that he has. 3,000 food per minute compared to 2,000 over on PuppyPaw's side. And that's going to fall even further as now the farming economy is going to be harassed significantly by all of these Ghazi Raiders.
I mean, Beastie just so good with his unit control with his Ghazi Raiders. This is what brought him to the later stages of the game and made PuppyPaw so far, delayed during that early feudal middle castle age was a lot of the Ghazi Raider kind of just control here. And Beastie now has Delhi online.
Yeah, Delhi not just online, also managed to decap the sacred site in the south. Meanwhile, Spearmen and men-at-arms are having a stare down at another sacred site. Top sacred site now also getting decapped by a couple of villagers.
They're just having a little look at each other.
Income.
Yeah, PuppyPaw, he still was able to remass back up quite quickly. BC, though, has a significant value lead and is going to constantly have an extra unit flow. So every unit that PuppyPaw loses, just a little bit harder to replace comparative to BC's side. Sprinkled Mass, though, should be able to clean up the Rams that are headed towards the base pretty easily now.
Yeah, lots of damage coming out from them. The +5 damage on the Sprinkles mean that they now do a lot more, like a significant amount more damage against the Rams as well. It was a quite nice buff there for them. Scholar now also capturing a Sacred Site. And a lot of the elephants did get thrown away here by Beasty, but I'm not sure if it matters. He still has 3,000 gold in the bank. He's got 3 relics. If he starts getting Sacred Sites, it's going to be an additional gold source there for the deli. And he's mining the middle large gold vein that's remaining. Now, Byzantines, they still have a lot of opportunities with their olive oil coming in. But it's not as much as it could have been because he went for the Silk Road. So at most, he can like mass a lot of javelin throws. Grenadiers aren't really that great without any unique upgrades on them.
Well, somehow, someway, PuppyPaw has a huge mass and outmassing Beasty because he's got more villagers. He's got more resources to be able to replace all these villagers that are going to go down. The Rams should be able to get cleaned up if PuppyPaw wants. It's just there's so many keeps that all this siege is really what needs to stay alive. If any of the siege falls, PuppyPaw's whole push gets delayed.
Yeah. PuppyPaw, 200 out of 200 pop. Same for BC. Ram is getting taken down. It's gonna be before though. Oh no, never mind. Gazi Raiders approach as well. That's gonna be another raid attempt. Puppy will have to send reinforcements over there, or at least like send the spearmen in somewhere. He's got the bonus movement speed on them now. He should just use them as a raiding force at this point in time, I believe.
Yep, all of the olive groves about to get crushed yet again. I would hate to be a villager in this game as we have now hit triple-digit villager kills on both sides.
Oh man, but more villagers are going down, and Beasty, I mean, sure, it's triple-digit villager kills on both sides, but Beasty still has 140 of them remaining. Gazi Raiders still killing villagers, and Beasty, that's all he's aiming for, just villager kills. He knows that he has a pretty much unlimited number of them. His opponent does not.
They're mining some stone on together because Beasty, again, just depletes all the resources from his opponent's side of the map because he can. PuppyPaw, is he going to go for like a landmark snipe potential? Just
I think
make
it's
sure.
the only chance.
Yeah, just that's my exact thought. Just make sure that Beasty has to respond to this. Hit the landmarks if all are centralized, which they somewhat are. I think all 4 are in a very, very close location and proximity to each other.
Needs the Nest of Beasts more forward right now. Where are the Nest of Beasts? There they are. Oh, villagers are getting used as anti-siege here.
Couple Nest of Beasts shot made it to where by the time the villagers arrived, they only got half a couple torch throws. The Nest of Bees are still there, and more villagers get pulled. Beasty, all of a sudden, now I said I'd hate to be a villager. I'd hate to be a Beasty villager this game, as they are just being used as fodder. But PuppyPaw is still pushing through, still equal numbers as far as military count goes. Beasty, though, much more resources in the bank to be able to push back from this. Higher efficiency units too, I think, with the massive hand cannoneers.
Yeah, the issue is that behind this, Beasty still has scans in the tank. PuppyPaw does not.
53 villagers for Puppy, 81 for Beasty.
After all of this, Beasty still has a lot more. And now the Gazi Raider once again run into the base from PuppyPaw here. And that's a large army now, consisting of hand cannoneers and men-at-arms. And what does PuppyPaw have? Limit? Nah, that's not going to be enough. That is nowhere near going to be enough. More Nest of Bees are coming out, but that's just not what you need in this situation. I feel like PuppyPaw, this landmark, just this landmark where you get siege from, it's for olive oil. I feel like it's such a bait sometimes. Like 30% more military units just sounds so much greater in my opinion. You can still make other siege units.
Yeah, I mean, maybe hindsight 2020 when it comes to that. There were still plenty of opportunities in this game on both sides, obviously, but Beasty, he has seemed like he's in control for a while. He's depleting the map of resources. He's trading behind this and is knocking on the doorstep of PuppyPaw yet again, and PuppyPaw might not have an answer this time. Spear after spear after spear. One nest of bees. Is that a PuppyPaw as well, or just a regular Treb?
It's a huge part. That's a lot of olive oil. Man, that could have been something else. Oh, man. But yeah, Beasty. He's just flying through right now. Stripped the entire map bare when it comes to resources. PuppyPaw, he's still missing so many upgrades, so many eco upgrades behind all of this. And I feel like there's just no way back behind all of that now.
Yeah, there's yellow just everywhere, and all the olive groves have been essentially ran out, and PuppyPaw does not go through with it. Beasty takes game number 1 in another long, hard-fought game number 1 of today.
Yeah, I mean, look at that villager graph. It's actually so insane how Beasty has been on like 200 food per minute for such a long time. Like, such a long time. And he just didn't make units. He just did. It was just keeps. Literally just more keeps, another keep here. Wow, another keep there. Yeah, absolutely just plastering the map full of keeps, manking villagers. And it was enough. It was enough. PuppyPaw, he transitioned into Siege too late and just wasn't able to like deal a finishing blow. I feel like if PuppyPaw just went for an immediate push with like a lot of trebuchets, like 3-4 trebuchets, and you go for a push into the base from Beasty, you would probably be able to kill him there.
Yeah, well, he also went for the outside 2 keeps. Actually, I want to say 3 keeps first before the ones that were on the that had the main big farm transition, and then by that time there were some stone walls coming up. It was just a great way that that a delay ended up happening, but still unbelievable back and forth in game number 1. Beasty taking it, and now we're following up with a map that I always love to be casting, watching, and seeing is Holy Island.
Japanese versus Juji's Legacy. I think Anaton was like the first player to really make use of Juji's Legacy on Holy Island. Japan, at this point in time, I feel like seems really established as just being one of, if not the best civilization on Holy Island. Once you get to like that really comfortable situation in the mid game where suddenly you're able to spam out on a Bagacious with all of the food that you're getting from water, able to harass wood lines, able to just run units into your opponent's base, also fast castle potentially, getting those knights in with the Urshiro, just really quick night production. Yeah, Japan just seems like such a really strong civilization here on water. At the same time, though, Juji's Legacy, they're no slouch either. Getting that meditation card gives you a lot of income very early on. They have faster production from their docks. They get Jugunu without needing to go Song Dynasty. Overall, with the cheaper age ups as well, Juji's Legacy might be able to rival the like age up timing that we see from Japan sometimes.
Yeah, well, not only that is I think on Holy Island in kind of the midst of the map, there's some really good potential meditation gardens location that gives you that kind of passive stone that allows you to get, some free dock upgrade potentials with arrow slits. But Japan, they're not only shinobi potentials, there's a lot of other potentials like we talked about with water bonuses for them with cheaper fishing boats and free gathering stone if they're on gold and all that sort. But I want to say I've seen Zushi on this map one single time and it ended up being a W. So maybe we can just maybe we'll keep that trend going here.
Yeah, might be. I think BC picked Holy Island as his home map and want to use it for the redraft. I don't think he really picked his civilizations with Holy Island specifically in thought. I think he just got Juji and is like, okay, if we actually do get Holy Island early on, I might want to use Juji on that. Just because I don't think, or at least I personally haven't seen him practice this at all, like Juji on Holy Island. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat.
I'm sure there's going to be plenty of Beastie fans in here that will know immediately if Beastie's been practicing Holy Island or not. I have not seen it myself, but maybe there's
Could be off
one of
stream.
those. I was about
Could
to
be
say
off
maybe
stream.
there's one of those Surfshark VPN practice accounts that we don't know about.
Could be. Could be. You never know. Surfshark to stay safe. All right. 4 more minutes until we're getting into our game number 2.
Yeah, and
And
thinking I was about to say, thinking about like the next Civ matchups and next maps here, obviously with that out of the way, you obviously I feel like English, we already talked about Beastie being the one who has had good performance on English. Who knows if it'll actually be coming out or not. But this leads to where HRE not necessarily being used on a hybrid.
I think HRE is also really good on Frisian marshes. Because if you think about it, I've seen a lot of people pick HRE on Frisian marshes, especially against civilizations like the Mongols, for example. Because with HRE, you get so many sheep early on Frisian marshes that even if the Mongols do end up tar rushing you, you're able to still get up to feudal age. And once you get up to feudal age, you have so many resources under your Archon Chapel. You're able to just pump out so many units, just burn down the outpost, run straight over to the Mongols. And with 40% more efficient income, in many situations, you're just able to completely overrun them at that point in time.
Yeah. I mean, I again, HRE just that counter. It's weird saying it, but it's like that counter pick to Mongols now, where Mongols used to always be the one that had the bonus there, and it's almost like you can outproduce Mongol spears early on in a sense. You or choose the fights that you can end up taking early, and just really utilize your inspiration effectively to have the extra resource gathering rate. But Holy Island will be the first map in front of us. PuppyPaw and Beastie got a lot of games ahead of them as we saw a 4-0 in our first series of today, and obviously not hoping for another 4-0 here today.
This first game was already really, really close. And considering that it got all the way into the late game, where BC is very proficient at, I think that tells us that there's probably going to be a lot of potential games for PuppyPaw to take as well, especially on a map like Holy Island. Because sure, when we think about hybrid maps, probably like our first thoughts go to the Spanish Bros, just being really, really good on these hybrid maps, especially Holy Island. You know who else is really good on hybrid maps? The Canadian Bros. Like whenever I play versus Wham or PuppyPaw on water, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna lose water. I'm not even gonna think about water. I'm just gonna lose it anyways. And they're so good at like micromanaging water as well.
Yeah, and usually when it comes to losing water, especially when it comes to Holy Island, that typically means losing the game, kind of puts the writing on the wall where it's just, hey, let's kind of bide the time on out. Sometimes we'll see those like death pushes with an HRE Burgrave Castle timing or with Men at Arms trying to deny, the opposing age up or something of that sort. But Deep Sea Fish is just hard to counteract once it is fully boomed on up.
Exactly. And if there's a civilization that can really boom up on water, it has to be Japan. Paying 45 wood for every single fishing ship, you're able to just get so many of those out very early on. It escalates very, very quickly and having like probably the best food water economy next to Rus.
Yeah, and this is where Japan they can kind of play it two ways, and where I've seen it played both ways as well. Where sometimes you'll see them play this kind of the same timing as Feudal Age, but have like more fishing boats because of that cheaper production. They're able to drop an extra dock earlier on and that kind of thing, or they'll just use the cheaper fishing boats to allow them to have that slight bit quicker age up timing, and then have that kind of timing push or do something or another with that quicker feudal age to make the tides turn their way.
Exactly. All right. Our game number 2, just around the corner. Beastie versus PuppyPaw. Beastie, first victory. And here we go. Game number 2 in a second set of the day. Got Beastie playing as the Shuji's Legacy over here in the color yellow on Holy Island. On the other hand side, playing in the color red as the Japanese. We got PuppyPaw. All right, both players immediately moving over to that shoreline. Both going to be dropping a dock. As water is very, very important here on this map. Pretty much half the map. Well, not half, but like a good third of the map covered in water. Lots of not only shoreline fish, but also deep sea fish that you want to gather from. Are we roboting? I'm not
I,
roboting. I'm not
I'm
roboting.
I'm not sure. Let's
No robot, no robot.
we'd
Chat
we'd
check, we're
see a
not
lot
robot.
more emotes in the chat. It's all fine.
We're
We got a
good, we're
couple.
good. No robot
got a
here.
We got a couple people trying to bait us in over there, but docks are being dropped, sheep are being gathered. I will say, even though this is a hybrid map, sheep typically don't matter as much on hybrids. Still has a good benefit for yourself, especially if you get it denied or you're needing to kind of build that up. But I believe this is kind of one of those like Frisian Marshes where both players will end up getting like 15 plus or so.
Yeah, like having a lot of sheep here on this map also means that should you lose water, you still have a comeback chance, especially for a civilization like Juji's Legacy. You can potentially get a timing in. You get supervision from your imperial officials. You're able to use your supervision on a lot of these sheep, get a lot of food income very quickly. So even if you lose water, there's still potential for you going for an all-in with, like, let's say, palace guards and try to like make up for the fact that you lost water.
Yep. Beasty Scout trailing kind of exactly behind where PuppyPaw's pathing just was. I don't know if he was just out of range of the scout or just was kind of trying to follow, trying to, get the information of PuppyPaw's base either way. Both players able to. One thing about Holy Island, sometimes you'll see there's kind of two main spawns where they'll have a big middle wood line in front of their base in between the players, or it's just this main big wood line with the little hump on the backside, and that's where we ended up seeing it, where the players are able to move out to that backside wood line a little bit quicker with the lumber camp.
I like this map spawn a lot more, just because if I play a civilization like Chinese, that gives me a centralized location to drop my Imperial Academy at.
Well, speaking of these early builds that we were talking about, PuppyPaw has gone ahead and started to build that secondary dock. And not only that, he has taken the opportunity to move out to the wood or to the gold as well. And kind of just a dual effect here with the ability of being able to use wood with all the savings that he's had with the fishing boats.
Yeah, PuppyPaw, did he actually grab the first tier wheelbarrow for Japanese? He's on 50 gold, so I guess he got that up. So his villagers should be moving with more movement speed now. If we can just take a look at any of these villagers. Yeah, indeed, he did get that. So it's going to have to mine a little bit more gold if he wants to age up, but already helps him a lot with the efficiency on his villagers.
Yeah, and is able to double produce out of those docks. So fishing eco will be nice and booming here. Beasty, obviously his bonus efficiency with his eco is having that imperial official as well as the faster production a little bit there, or faster building as well. And the imperial official might be what he was mainly getting some gold with earlier on, with a few free drop-offs whenever that lumber camp got up to 40 gold in it, but he has moved on over to gold at this point.
PuppyPaw now has enough gold to age up. Probably just one or two more drop-offs. I think just one forced drop-off with the fishing ships should be able to give him enough food to be able to age up. And there we go. Age up should be coming in soon. It is going to be the Coca Township. So expect Shinobi to be coming out on the map here very soon within the next 2 minutes.
Beasty is just now dropping his secondary dock, but that's where we know Puppy, he's already a couple fishing boats ahead, and that has allowed him to get this age up quicker, at least starting to build it. We know that Zushi will be able to catch up if they wanted to, but not sure how many villagers will end up building this landmark from Beasty, because usually if it's meditation gardens, you're going to want to move out a little bit and get one of these prime time spot locations more towards the middle.
Oh, it is going to be one like that. He's getting gold and stone. Now, in terms of pure numbers, this isn't the greatest. He's getting 75 resource per minute here. But when it comes to the resource that he's getting, that's when it's pretty great. I was actually thinking, okay, I personally would have made it on the wood line and the berries there in the back. It's nice and safe. You're getting... Oh, that would have been a great spot as well. Oh my god, that would have been amazing. What? Oh
That's wild.
50
There's another gold.
50, yeah, you could put all of that in range. 50 gold, 50 stone, 50 food, and then even more wood as well. At least a little bit of wood. Man,
Imagine the
that
old
would have been
meditation
wild.
gardens on that spot too.
Oh man. That would have been wild, but now Age Up coming in pretty much at exactly the same point in time for both of these players. PuppyPaw immediately researching double Broadex. A third dock has been dropped by Beasty over in his shoreline. No ship in production yet. And the first Shinobi is going to be making its way out on the map very, very soon here. Villager, probably not going down, so that's enough health to make it back out. And now the first Archer ship is going to be coming out from both players. I like the play from Beasty, adding in an additional dock, a third dock, just because once those Shinobi do make their way out there, instead of like making units early on, getting another dock makes it very hard for your opponent to really efficiently like snipe the docks that are producing from you.
Yep. And Beastie already has that outpost up on his gold, makes it so much harder for the Shinobi to actually get some picks. They can run on in and try to do the blink away or whatever you want to end up calling it, since I know everyone has their different terminology for it. But makes it very hard to actually get damage on the gold vein.
Players now going into the wall drunk. Some micro there on the Archer ships. Beastie will have to retreat though. And now an emplacement on the outpost on the gold mine is going to be coming through.
Only that single Shinobi that popped on out. Other than that, it has been military ships for both of these sides. Beastie getting wheelbarrow.
I think he's playing to Age Up.
Yeah. Puppy's just going fast castle here.
Is he going to be able to afford that? Like, military-wise on water? He's getting one sprinkled ship out now. BC has 2 in the queue. He's going to have to be careful with that. Does he already have an emplacement? He doesn't have that much stone left in the bank. I think he has less stone than he should have at this point in time. So maybe he's already got an emplacement on one of his stocks?
Not so sure. Oh, he does.
He does. He does. Okay. So he should be fine in that regard, at least early on.
And PuppyPaw now has enough gold. Maybe just needs to do a good old force drop off and uses some of that extra gold to go ahead and get some ranged armor.
Oh, cancel that upgrade now. I think you got to get that upgrade during the Age Up. It's delaying him a lot right now. If you want to Age Up. Maybe he doesn't want to Age Up.
He just queued a demo. And there we go. Archery range has been built for Beastie. He is starting to mass up some chooks as well. So Beastie, he's got the superiority on water, and he's also got that superiority on land, just not the eco overall. And PuppyPaw is going for that higher tier tech up, getting a barracks to follow.
Beastie, he's sending Jugunu over. Oh, demo ship. Demo ship, is it going to connect? It's going to connect. The Archer ship just went down.
Oh, and it does get a Springle chip. Not only that, PuppyPaw, he flips the switch and gets a demo pick on the other side. So you asked if he could hold this on water, and the answer is yes if you take trades like that.
Oh, and now he's falling back into the dock with the emplacement.
Yep. Has another Springle chip pop out. Just needs to make sure to not allow these demos to connect. He has his own demo. Demo gets jumped out.
Second one from the backside. Oh, huge trades!
PuppyPaw.
Oh my god! That was so great for him. That was so great. And another
he just
one
took down every single Springle chip. He went up to castle, but he gets denied off of gold by the Chooks. I'm not sure if he lost too many vills on over there.
I think he lost 2. Yeah, he lost 2 vills, but that's fine since he still has a lot of fishing ships, right? So it's made up for that. And then as soon as he goes up, oh, he's getting a market as well, so he's gonna be able to trade out resources. I still don't like the barracks play at this point in time. You can't make obligations against that. Wait,
Samurai. It's gonna be Samurai.
Oh, okay. Now I like it.
It's gonna be Samurai play. But my thing is you just won water that hard. I'd love to see him just head right across to BC side of the water now.
It's tough. It's tough to head right across. I think BC probably also has he's had the meditation gun for a while. On Double Stone, yeah, I think there's probably dock emplacements there as well. Or he's always got the chance of going for dock emplacements. I mean, PuppyPaw knows what resources BC's getting.
Oh. He doesn't actually have any dock emplacements. The Samurai pop out. Chooks are going to try to kite those on away. They're so tanky already, though.
I mean, neither of them have any blacksmith upgrades right now.
And this is going to be the big importance. PuppyPaw diving onto Beasty's water. He's diving onto the docks. Beasty, though, has that defender's advantage. And look at how many ships just popped out. That's the hard part when you press forward.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough. PuppyPaw, he's at 1,000 food per minute right now. He's able to just pump out a ton of these samurai now. Beasty is getting some spearmen out. That is probably not going to be enough spearmen and Jugunu against like mass samurai. If PuppyPaw's able to get enough of them over, he needs more gold. Oh, another villager went down. 4 villagers so far.
I mean, this
is
is
some great snipes.
Oh, he's about to get another 2 villagers probably from this. 1.
Oh no, he's
2.
He's getting them. PuppyPaw, run!
3.
Oh my god.
Nope, 3. Not quite 3, but he can get more. Puppy. Oh my gosh.
Oh no, man. Okay, this wouldn't have happened.
And there's more. He's just a puppy. Oh my gosh.
Why?
What are you doing?
Oh no! He was in such a good spot, and now he's not in such a good spot anymore.
I was just going to say that the Beasty's about to get like chokeholded and stuck in feudal age, but now with all that damage, this feels easy.
I feel like you need at least a couple obligations in there just to be able to catch up. But now in water, okay, he notices. He notices. That could have been really ugly if he didn't. But there's a lot of demo ships, and he doesn't have an answer to demo ships. He can't make his own right now because he's been off gold for such a long time. He needs to make something happen in Beastie space very, very soon. Question is, can he do it?
Able to get at least a 1 or 2 quick picks. Demo ships being chokeholded by the few archer ships on PuppyPaw's side, but the dock emplacements, there's 5 demos. Where are they going to end up being utilized? Is it going to be a dock? Demo pops out for PuppyPaw, though. Able to get it back around to the flank side. Able to explode right on top of the Springle chips, but he's got Springle chips of his own to deal with. A couple of the demos get exploded. PuppyPaw loses 3 of his own Springles, and more importantly, all of his fishing is starting to be taken out as well. But he has taken control of the land. He's got his own samurai sending across. Beasty's about to have his own eco to deal with at home.
Oh man, what is going on here in this game? There's fights happening everywhere now. More samurai over here.
Beasty doesn't have the gold to age up yet. PuppyPaw somewhat equalizing those villager count losses that he had. Obviously not with all of the fishing that he just lost. So has to immediately just remass a ton of fishing boats here and keep up the aggression somehow on land.
He's sending more villagers out there to gold. Needs the last little bit of gold in order to be able to go up. Actually, he's making palace guards. Oh, I don't like the palace guards in queue right now. That's going to drive him further away from being able to age up. He's getting more outposts out. Wants to get the emplacements in.
Yeah, I mean, that is his best bet right now. Jumps inside the outpost. Chooks are here. I'm not sure if there's another Chook on the gold right now. PuppyPaw's, but he cleaned it on up.
A lot of kiting going on right now with those Jugunu. I feel like PuppyPaw needs to just put the main force on the Jugunu, like split them up, surround them from try to surround them from 2 sides, and just 1 or 2 samurai to raid woodlines.
Head the woodline. I was about to say, split 2 off into the woodline, and that makes it just so hard to deal with this economy. There's so many samurai still.
Yeah, the reinforcements are going to be great here.
They're back onto the gold, so Beasty, he's trying to build more outposts, trying to jump inside those outposts again. He has so much of his economy idled, and keep in mind, he is still feudal age while Puppy is castle, so this is allowing more techs to come into play. You're actually seeing ranged armor get invested into finally again, as that was what he had to cancel to get up to castle quicker.
And behind that, PuppyPaw now also putting aggression up on water. The difficult thing for Beasty is he can't invest any more resource into army right now, because any more that he invests into army is going to delay him further and further away from Castle Age. But he also can't really ignore it completely, because then he's just going to lose it out on land. Samurai, once again, take engagements. A couple of early palace guards are getting taken down. Now the age up is coming in. Shaolin Monastery is going to be on the way, but is it going to be enough? Jugunu still kiting here, but now on water, Beasty's attention is going to be split. He's going to now very likely lose out on a lot of the eco that he's got on water. And then suddenly, it's going to put PuppyPaw ahead because he was able to easily, and I mean easily, reboom on water because his fishing ships got so much less.
Demo pops on out, though, immediately was able to explode one of the Springle ships, and Beasty doing a great job healing up his own ships with his fishing boats. Demo's trying to close the gap, but immediately sniped out from Beasty. So a great hold by Beasty onto the water.
At the same time, the land, Beasty barely lost any Zhugedu. The Samurai now going for villagers. It feels like he just needed faster units there. The Samurai, they just got kited the entire time.
Yeah, tons of idle time. As far as the overall eco numbers, though, it's pretty much equal. PuppyPaw has been up in castle a little bit longer, so should have some extra upgrades, as that is his advantage here. He has, he's got 3 relics behind this and should easily be able to have a 4th here, too.
And Beasty right now, he doesn't have any war junks out on the field. Seeing a couple more demo ships getting added in. Oh, demo ship connection. Oh, he notices
he
just
did
in time.
Explode it, yeah. PuppyPaw able to get away with his demos. Archer ships were a little too far forward, and BC now looks like he is starting to lose water. He got the age up, but at what cost this point? It took so much to get that age up. He had so much going on in his base on the water, and it just looks like he's now starting to struggle a little bit here. Fishing boat slowly getting taken down. He has stabilized over on the land, but will he be able to move out with those chooks and get some damage again?
Oh, that was shot. Doesn't get the connection in. Oh, gets the snipe on the war junk instead, though. And now a lot of war junks are going to be in queue for PuppyPaw. Is that going to be what he needs here in order to take down the docks? At the same time, he's getting Samurai as well as Onabagashas out, but there's a big mass of the Zhugedu just being there right now, moving they were over from Beasty's base. I'm not sure if PuppyPaw really has what it takes in order to hold this. He doesn't have any cavalry. He definitely needs some sort of more mobile unit. Could the Onabagasha be that for him here? I'm not sure, because they just lack any sort of ranged armor.
I mean, they're at least getting some of the picks. Beasty actually having to fall back a little bit, but look at the water after all of that. PuppyPaw fully in control there. Beasty doesn't have any fishing boats left.
He's still investing now into a couple of demo ships. Wants to take down some of these ships from PuppyPaw. It's going to make it expensive to fully get Beasty off water. It's going to be necessary. At the same time, Beasty, is he investing into second TC at this point in time? He did just move a lot of villagers over to stones, so second TC is going to be the play here.
Yep, feel like you have to at this point now. A lot of sprinkled ships. Another demo pops on out. PuppyPaw gets a good reaction. Oh, his archer ship stays alive at like 1 health.
Is Beasty gonna notice? He's sending an archer ship out. No more
Those
ships
2
in
docks are
queue
finally
now.
starting to get a little bit low. The chook mass has been thinned out, but it still is doing damage. It's still causing annoyance.
I feel like Knights would have just been a lot better here in this situation, but hindsight is 2020. And now Beasty is also adding in his own crossbows. He also reached Song Dynasty, so is getting his TCs out a little bit cheaper now, at least when it comes to the wood cost.
Oh, and there's the extra help to get Beasty fully off of water. Just going to be a little bit of some infantry mass to come on over, pull their torches on out, and finish that up.
These Zhugedu have done so much damage here to PuppyPaw on land. I feel like if it weren't for those Zhugedu, I feel like PuppyPaw would have already been able to close out this game. This really bought Beasty so much time. Incredibly well played there with just a couple of Zhugedu. He did so much kiting there with the Samurai, but during the kiting, always finding his way back over to the gold mine, doing so much damage. And behind this, not even blacksmith upgrades. No blacksmith upgrades researched so far. The Onabagashas are actually doing a lot of damage. Ooh, 1 archer ship now.
I think Beasty might be going for a... is he going for a keep now? He's already had his second town center drop. Must be a keep for some protection.
Yeah, he needs to delay this game at this point in time. He needs to force it into a late game. The question is if he can actually successfully do that, because there hasn't been a farm transition for him yet. So even if he gets it into a later stage of the game, I feel like PuppyPaw might just still have enough resources in the bank, or rather through the water here, to be able to overrun him potentially.
Beasty using that one last archer ship to get as much damage down as possible and ends up taking, what, 2 fishing boats with him.
Definitely got a lot of value out of that. Stone walls now coming in. He has a lot of stone in the bank, but these stone walls should at least be getting denied. What is going to be able to spot that out?
Yes, they do end up getting through, denying the stone walls. Beasty's dropping that keep in the center on that next gold, but oh, a huge Ana mass circling around that backside. I'm not sure if Beasty has any outpost over there. It looks like he does have an outpost, gets the vision of it a little bit ahead of time, and great reaction as expected.
And that Ana Geisha circling around the other side now. Outpost quickly gets taken down. And PuppyPaw, he could just take down the village there as well. Just try to harass there. Force Beasty to build the village somewhere else.
Village, houses, everything right now can definitely do some devastation. Beasty steps up with that range mass he has. There is not much range mass here, and PuppyPaw fine with taking this fight with his smaller split-off army, because the other split-off army is starting to rage, starting to push forward, and Beasty, he knows it's over as he does not have water, does not have a mass, and Puppy does, and ties up the series.
We go. So now a 1-1 on the scoreboard between these two players and PuppyPaw. It looked a little bit rocky there at the start, losing a lot of villagers over to those Jugendu. You can see a pretty big dive there when it comes to the villager count, but in the end managed to still win it out, keeping Beasty in feudal age for just a very long time. But then Beasty finally gets up, doesn't have enough resource left though in order to continue out on water, and with that, game number 2 goes over to PuppyPaw.
Yep. Holy Island, always a hype, fun game to cast, fun map to watch, and I know y'all missed KP this last game, and he'll get y'all some updates, get some good questions for us here to update y'all with the rest of the series.
Woo! Well, first of all, is everyone enjoying themselves? Because we've already got a more competitive series. Obviously, 4-0 to open the day kind of made it feel a little bit quick, but we're already getting an epic series here, lads. 2 games in, 1 apiece. I'd have it no other way. And you know, let's start with that first game, because that first game was wild. The way that played out, you know, it didn't actually play out how we were kind of predicting pre-game, right? Like a completely different strategy in the opening from PuppyPaw Crackedy, right? Like we didn't get the Keshix, we didn't get the Hippodrome. We got this more macro-focused game, but whenever you're talking about the idea of a macro-focused game going a later game, that feels like a danger point up against someone like Beasty.
Yeah, playing the late game against Beasty, it's rough. It's rough. And he played it in such an interesting way. We got up to 154 villagers at one point on Beasty's side. And I think there were like 7 keeps just non-stop producing villagers for the deli there. It's tough. It's really tough. He completely mined the map bare. I really wholeheartedly believe that if PuppyPaw in the mid game just added like 2-3 trebuchets and just went for the main part of Beasty's base after he took some really, really great fights, instead of like playing around with those keeps on the flanks there. If he just went for the middle, straight for the throat, I feel like that probably could have ended the game there. But it's so tough to know when you're inside of the game.
And, you know, it kind of felt like he was giving a gift horse for a while there, right, Dabston? Like we saw keep after keep after keep after keep. Beasty got to a stage where his body was writing checks that he simply couldn't cash, right? We got to the stage where the amount of villages worth of upkeep required and food income he had, it was kind of like watching a kid discover an overdraft account for the first time. Like, whoa, free money? I'm just going to spend all of this. And then the bill comes in, right? It was actually because I think at one stage he had 500 food income, and he was using almost double that in terms of villager production.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those where it was the long-term game plan with the way Beasty plays of, hey, the keeps will at least provide the protection, provide stalling. Yeah, he might lose 1, 2, 3, but guess what? These other 4 are gonna have well paid for themselves, and he had all the farms behind it protected and safe, and PuppyPaw wasn't able to really deny the food when it mattered the most.
Yeah, I think at that point we had more villager conscription than we've seen Surfshark subscriptions. So you guys can at least help us with that. Be sure to use that code right there. ECTV at checkout. Come on, guys. I'm trying to get you a good deal here. I just want to remind you that is going to run out at the end of the weekend. So definitely go across the website. If you have a need for a VPN in the next year, it's a bargain. It's worth getting. But a bargain of a series, right? Like 1-1 apiece means we're definitely at least going to see a redraft. We can quickly kind of iron over that second game because I think you guys just done a phenomenal job analyzing it. Interesting matchup, Crackedy, right? Japanese and Juji seem like the two lead picks right now in that format. I'm starting to think that, if you can make it not so much about big Navy armies, Japanese has a weird advantage there, right? Because if it becomes a game where you lose all your eco, reboom, it's so much more cost efficient for the Japanese.
Yeah, and we saw it in that game. Like, PuppyPaw lost pretty much all of his naval food income. All of his fishing ships went down. Then, like, 4 minutes later, suddenly he had like 20 fishing ships out again. It is crazy how cheap those are. And it really worked out well for him. That's what allowed him to just pump out these units on land nonstop.
And I wonder if he found that golden meditation garden, could it maybe be a little bit different? I don't care. All I know is I'm getting the distance in this series. But we have a rematch for the day. We opened the first series of this. Ottomans versus Abbasis. The question mark, boys, is are we going deep enough into a game to get that messy late game Abbasid affair? Let's find out as we hop into game number 3.
And here we are with the tied up series, game number 3. Beasty spawning in on the north in the color yellow again as the Ottomans, and Puppy spawning in the south in the color red as the Abbasid dynasty. Let's see how these sheep gathering goes. Let's see if there's going to be any advantage here in this dark age, or if we're going to kind of get into the meat of the things in feudal.
Oh, BC going really close there to PuppyPaw's main base. PuppyPaw playing as Abbasid means that he is going to be, well, I want to say he has the option of going over to berries first before going on to sheep. But knowing how PuppyPaw plays the Abbasid, I'm guessing he's just going to be opening up with the sheep under his TC. BC on the other hand side, he already has that military school out and pumping, so Spearman should be coming out in a minute or so.
PuppyPaw dropped the mill, but only has one villager on it, so is primarily on top of that sheep. Spearman looking to head on across. It is that front side berries, but looks like plenty of sheep being gathered. Both players had some pretty aggressive scouting patterns trying to go over to their opponent's side of the map. We saw how heavy that had paid off for Beasty in the first game.
Yeah, in the first game, a lot of the sheep went over to Beasty's side. Definitely helped him a lot. He had to, he was able to stay inside his base for quite a long time. This time, though, PuppyPaw, he's getting a pretty decent sheep haul early on, able to run behind Beasty's base at this point in time. Now the two scouts, they're going to meet up inside of Beasty's base, and they're going to be like, hey, how much do you have? And PuppyPaw has to feel really good here at this point in time when it comes to his sheep haul.
Yep, sees the little small haul behind BC. He laughs his way home and says, "All right, that's revenge for the first game." But BC says, it's not nearly as bad as what the first game was.
I'm used to playing with few sheep. It's all right. Military wing now coming out for PuppyPaw. No surprises there. Military wing kind of feels like it's not even something that's optional when you're playing up against the Ottomans. If you don't go for military wing, many times you just die H2.
Yeah, I mean, the boot camp upgrade really kind of allows you to get somewhat on even footing when it comes to their military prowess. The few units that pop on out deters the few spears that have already been out from the military school that's free. We saw in game number 1, Louis actually used that first spear to just push in deer because he's like, it wasn't even worth it against the military wing. Looks like Beasty at least wants to cause some annoyance with that first spear headed across the map. But usually, or kills a sheep with it. Usually earlier on, even against 3 villagers, it's like, you kind of just laugh this off. There we go. We see the shivs come out. The villagers will do more damage than taken.
Yeah. PuppyPaw, though, I think he has enough gold, 120. Depends on what he wants to do. As soon as he gets the military wing units out, though, he's just going to be able to clean that up. And that's a good amount of sheep making their way over now. So PuppyPaw definitely got a good end here when it comes to the bargain between those two players, when it comes to sheep count. 9 sheep on his side after he already collected from 3 under his TC at the same time. Only 2 live sheep right now for Beasty. I think there's still a couple more sheep then left out on the map.
Yeah, there should end up being. I want to say there was one of the corners that we didn't see scouted earlier on, but feudal ages have about to finish up for both of these players. Yep, there it's up at the north side behind that little odd cliff formation. A few extra sheep. Military wing units head towards the deer as Puppy wants to make sure there's no deer lambing going on as he wants a secondary TC over there.
Yeah, it looks like Beasty is going to find those last 2 remaining sheep there. So overall, sheep count should be fine for both players. Relatively fair at least. Yeah, it looks like PuppyPaw is exactly doing that. He's just luring in the deer now with his military wing units. Doesn't really have any other use for them right now. This stage in the game.
So we already know where that secondary TC is going to be planned to be dropped. It's going to be right on top of where these deer end up when PuppyPaw has those resources, probably tucked up nice and close next to the wood line as well.
I'm wondering if he puts the TC, just because the deer are already so close, if he puts it next to stone. If he might be going for a 3rd TC. I think that's a little bit too greedy though. BC at the same time though is moving villagers out to stone. If BC's going for a 2nd TC, then I think as the opposite, you could totally go for a 3rd TC.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is one where, especially like I feel like when you go out to 2 TCs, you're playing Abba's game. You're like, all right, like they see that and they're like, okay, I'm happy about it because their TCs are better. They have fresh foodstuffs. They can constantly, produce those villagers that much easier. And Puppy actually drops a forward TC, not on the deer. It makes me look like an idiot.
Yeah, he's dropping it next to the berries, and BC at the same time, he managed to kill some of the deer there. So I guess that's just where PuppyPaw is going to kill him. He's just going to drop a mill there instead of luring them all the way back to under his TC. Guess I'm wrong. And we do see Anatolian Hills once again coming out there for the Ottomans, so that's going to be a lot of sheep. That's a great synergy with going multi-TC. If you get 8 sheep out immediately, it means that you're going to have a lot of food income.
Yeah, and with the positioning of the TC, it allows you to just kind of tuck up next to the wood line. You can just focus on heavy military investment to protect up your TCs, and you don't really have to break out for food resources as early as you might need to.
Beasty behind all of that. We see the deer lady coming in.
Yeah, still doing the deer lamb. And we were like, oh yeah, I literally said it. I was like, oh, the military units are making sure that the deers don't get lambed. It was like, yeah, that one pack. You forgot about the other one. Come on now.
We already have a couple of archers out right now for Beasty, trying to do some damage with him. Looks like PuppyPaw added in his own stable, so some horsemen will be making their way out soon onto the map. Beast right now, military school, looks to be on Spearman and Zapahi, I want to say. I'm not sure if he already added in his 2nd military school.
Ooh, but
now
the horsemen come out at the perfect time. Archers have to run on home and away. Villager that got forced back, just dropped off some gold, isn't too worried about it. And both of these players are now going to have a little bit of everything in their composition.
Yeah. Spearman, though, from Beasty. They were out on the deer. Now they're going to be making their way over to those archers, trying to protect them. One more hit after this one on the archer should be going down. Will go down. That means it's pretty much almost clean up here. Spearmen are going to make their way out alive, though. But PuppyPaw got some great value out there early on.
And just like Beastie's archers had to watch out, PuppyPaw has to watch out now with where he rallies his archers with Zapahi circling and moving out on the map. We saw how good Beastie was with his unit control with the Ghazi Raiders in the Delhi game, and I'm sure it's going to be the same with Zapahi here.
Just able to keep your opponent in his base, like make it really uncomfortable for them to move out. PuppyPaw, he's getting some early walls out on the right-hand side. Means that he is at least going to be safe from that position. Looks like one of the deer that he tried to lure actually made it all the way back out. Now, we're in this kind of like mid-phase of the game. I'm not sure if any of them are looking towards Castle Age or if we're going to see an extended Feudal Age coming out here. PuppyPaw at least looks to be playing for an extended Feudal Age. He's making a lot of horsemen, a lot of archers. No blacksmith upgrades yet in queue. Meanwhile, Beastie is prioritizing them.
Yeah, one thing I just now realized is we talked about Beasty going out over into the stone, and look at how much stone he still has. He did not end up dropping a secondary TC.
That's true. Okay.
He must have changed his decision and decided to stay on 1 TC. Don't really know what made him change his decision, but PuppyPaw is starting to climb up in this villager lead now.
Yeah, not just that, but they also still have equal military count. Now that is going to change as the military schools provide free military overall, but PuppyPaw is not in a bad spot right now. I really like this position for him right now, and I'm surprised that Beasty, being the kind of player that we think of him, like not going for the greed here, not going for the greedy play with a 2TC.
Yeah, it kind of is weird. It feels like, you know, it's more of an all-in approach, and I feel like Beasty's not that kind of all-in player. He's usually more the macro. He's more the one that says, hey, you know, you try to come push my base, and you'll be the one to make the mistake, and I'll be able to defend this up easy.
Once again, try to look for some villagers to kill there on the gold mine. No villagers out there at the moment, though. PuppyPaw now getting in his own blacksmith upgrades. Has to be careful with his horseman.
Yep. Horseman circling, Beasty tracking those very, very well, but this just means Beasty's army is in his base and not in his opponent's base, which means PuppyPaw's secondary TC gets to keep pumping, keep working for him, and obviously he is ABBA as well, so he's not having to pay full price for those villagers.
Yeah, it's gonna help him a lot, and we can see it in the eco right now. They're looking really, really good right now for him. Bootcamp, I'm not sure if Bootcamp was researched yet. We should check that out if Bootcamp has already been researched. It's a relatively quick upgrade. I think it's only like 30 seconds. Second Vizier point coming in. An additional military school is soon gonna get dropped. Not been okay. He definitely needs to get that before any big fights.
I feel like he hasn't been on. He's been pushed off of gold quite a bit, and that's where Beasty has done a great job doing that. But speaking of, PuppyPaw getting the first successful Vil kill of the game, as it matters a little bit more because Beasty doesn't have that second DC pumping.
Yeah, and now PuppyPaw went out to gold, so needs to be a little bit careful there. Hope he notices in time, else he'll also lose a villager on gold. Don't see the move yet. And that's gonna be at least one dead Vil, maybe two. One villager going down. Does lose a Sapai for it though. And Sapai are very expensive. I wanna emphasize very, very expensive. You think of like unique horsemen, you think of like Ghazi Raider. Sapai costs so much more. They cost almost as much wood as an archer.
And PuppyPaw is very, very happy with taking out extra military units right now because, again, he has the extra eco to be able to replace his, to be able to continue to mass on up. That villager count lead has gone up to 16 at this point.
Oh, a couple of horsemen on the retreat are going to find the army from Beasty. No scout out anymore for Puppy. That one got sniped earlier.
And I think I saw Beasty invest into siege engineering. So I want to say he was trying to plan more of this kind of, again, all-in approach. But PuppyPaw has a significant military mass himself.
No boot camp yet, though.
They're walking by each other. They don't see each other. Oh,
now he does.
Puppy does. Needs to pull his spears, or no spears back. Needs to pull his horsemen back. The ram starts getting built, though. Beasty cancels it.
It's not enough units. Yeah. He realized that it's not enough units. Granted, though, Beasty, he's pumping out Sapai here at this point in time. And PuppyPaw, he's yet to make any spearman at all. He's only got one spearman. That one was free.
And
from the military.
It's a dark age spearman. Puppy
don't push out too far.
I mean, the thing is yes, there's that many Sapai, but look at the archer count difference. It's 52 to 22. I feel like Puppy's almost at the point.
You can't have a stale army composition against Ottomans because then they just pop open the Vizier point, not the Vizier point, but the meta. They just switch over the drums and suddenly you're facing off against 3 armor Sapai. No, 4 armor actually. Oh my god, that's even worse.
And Sapai are starting to try to circle. This is where I talked about Beasty does this with Delhi, with his Ghazi Raiders. He does the same thing with Ottomans. Once you kind of start to have these masses, you have to keep track of these or else you will get punished for it. Villagers, quick reaction by PuppyPaw, able to pick up not only Oh, I was about to say
Oh, if he
not
got
only a
that, that
Ghazi
would have been
Raider,
huge.
but almost a Sapa or the Metter, and that Metter is quite low. Puppy does have some Horseman Circle, and I wonder if he's going to try to pick it. I think it's too much of a too much damage he'd take from these Horsemen.
Yeah, he's not going for it. Additional walls now coming up for Beasty. But at this point in time, PuppyPaw, he's 20 villagers ahead. And now he's actually going to be the first one to click the age up. Culture Wing. Interesting.
Has he still not gotten military or boot camp?
I don't think he's gotten boot camp yet, so that's going to block him out from getting boot camp until the age up finishes.
Yeah, I was about to say, I feel like this is one of those timings where you see this and you're like, crap, I need boot camp. And you're like, I'm not stopping my castle age. It's like, all right, well, now I got this kind of long timing because you're going to want to get preservation of knowledge, and then you're going to want to get boot camp as well.
Beasty, right behind PuppyPaw though, with the age of timing, but this is not really something that you want to see. You don't want to see your opponent getting castle age at the same point in time when he invested into a secondary TC. he's just circling around right now, around the wood line.
Yeah, trying to find some damage to do, try and find somewhere to do something. One bad thing for PuppyPaw is his food eco, as Beasty is clearly trying to focus on it a little bit. Looks like he has a Sipahi circling where the deer, circling where the berries are on the south, and Puppy's on these berries in the north, and that's about it, I think.
He has enough resource to go up to castle age twice right now. He's going to be able to get all of his upgrades in immediately as soon as he goes up. Question is he going to actually click them immediately, or is he going to wait until the preservation of knowledge upgrade is going to be coming in?
I mean, be greedy. Be preservation of knowledge. If you have
Additional
the time
walls
for
coming out.
the MIA finishes. Beasty's going for a circle onto the gold. I mean, Puppy, they have just been back and forth around this wood line for the past 3 minutes.
Oh, he's not getting even preservation of knowledge. He's first getting boot camp, so I guess he was fearful of that. Wants to get that in as soon as possible in case of a fight breaking out anytime soon. Sipahi though on the deer. Oh, it's 2 of them actually. Oh, that hurts. Having 2 of them. Oh my god, I'm not sure the villagers can actually win this fight.
I'm scared for Puppy.
Does he have textiles?
Oh, the villagers won this fight. But
They
barely.
do, but
Just what, 3 villagers get taken
2
out?
actually. Only two. He only has 2. Could have been way worse.
Beasty,
But
though,
now the entire Sipahi mass is moving over that side.
He's starting to posture his whole entire army that way. Puppy is starting to build walls, so he will be able to spot this out. And he already has his own horsemen here ready and waiting. And not only the horsemen, the archers, and even the single spear came as well
But
to
that
help.
leaves the other side open. Oh, he's gonna spot that. He has an outpost there, so he's gonna spot that happening. The units are moving over. He does have his own archers. And he's
And
about to
Ghulams
get
are
the
there.
composite woe. Yeah,
Ghul-
he's gonna be able to hold that.
Yeah, I mean, this is where... Look at... the archer volley into those Ghulams, because there's no veterancy in for Beasty, as well as no second tier range damage, was literally a tickle.
They have so much health, these Ghulams. They're almost invincible at this point in time right now. As long as there aren't any crossbows, and there aren't any even in queue right now for Beasty. Those Ghulams, they're in the own league right now. They're just a really tanky frontline. There's so many of them coming out right now.
Yeah, it feels like PuppyPaw has been able to start to retake this map control. Beasty maybe starting to bleed some units. He's stepping forward with those Sipahi. Doesn't yet have the second tier ranged armor, but PuppyPaw has to kite on back. The Sipahi getting a good amount of damage in. Ghulams weren't enough of a front line, but the whole entire Sipahi mass is so damaged at this point, they might get full cleaned up.
Yeah, and it's a fast attack speed as well. Like, these attacks are coming in so quickly. Look at that. All the Sipahi are just dying.
It wasn't
That
might
was
get
not
cleaned
worth
up.
it.
They just got absolutely slaughtered. And the whole time here, Puppy was kiting back towards the other army, which allowed him to regroup on together with the Ghulam mass. And Beasty throws in the towel. PuppyPaw takes back-to-back games and goes up 2-1.
And now we've got a lead, and this wasn't even into the late game. Beasty realizes PuppyPaw 2 TC the entire time throughout. The villager lead was just too great there at that point in time. The economy, too great. And PuppyPaw with all of the unique upgrades, that is a really devastating Castle Age Abbasid army there. Ghulams with bootcamp, archers with composite bows. What can you even do in that situation on 1 TC with equal tax? Beasty calls it there.
Yeah, it just felt like that extended feudal with the 2 TC play. After we realized that Beasty didn't ever drop a secondary TC, it just kind of felt like it was all over for himself. Puppy, like you said, able to have a same and similar timing than your opponent when you're on the Abbasid is always a good thing because you had all the extra resources ticking while you were waiting for the age up. Very, very clean game by PuppyPaw, and very and sure enough, we talked about this before the last series. We were talking about, hey, where do we think HRE is going to be grabbed on in? And you said Frisian Marshes and most likely against Mongols, and sure enough, here it is.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think this is winnable for Mongols. Unless PuppyPaw misses out on a ton of sheep, I don't think this is winnable for Mongols now in the current meta. It's already been tough beforehand on this map in particular, in this matchup. But now with the HRE buffs, I downright think that Mongols has no way of winning this.
Well, Beasty might have something else to say against that. He's going to watch this replay after maybe potentially winning this one and say, hey, I got something else to say about that one. I'll show you something that the Mongols can do here on Frisian Marshes, even against the buffed up HRE.
New YouTube video idea. There we go. But yeah, I looked at this matchup and I was like, no, there's no way Mongols is bad in this one against H3. And then I played it like 3-4 times against Lash and I was like, yeah, I don't think Mongols can win this one. Because Lash was actually very much convinced about saying that Mongols are having a really, really tough time. And then I watched Lash play this, train this matchup against players like Lucifron, for example, and it looked really good for him there as well. So I say on equal skill levels, I think Mongols will have a very, very tough time against H3. I'm gonna put my points where my money are, where my words are. I'm gonna there we go. I don't have a lot of points at the moment, but they're all going on HRE here.
Yeah, and not even that. You always can never forget about some potential Marine Lord Frisian Marsh spawns where you get that gold in between your two wood lines, and you're like, well, so much for Mongol Tower Rush. You can't even Tower Rush me. But now we'll get to see if that is the case. Beasty spawning in game number 4, south side of Frisian Marshes as the Mongols, and PuppyPaw on the eastern side as the HRE in the red does have that front gold.
Yeah, HRE front gold, that definitely does hurt in this one. Looking at the sheep count, PuppyPaw, did he get sheep early on before he went over to BC's side? Gonna have to check that one. Oh, he's finding some on BC's side right now. Okay.
And not only a few, he found a good little pack on Beasty's side. Wants to spot out Uvu, wants to spot out what he needs to react to. He does indeed see the barracks, I believe, that just got dropped, and a good little sheep haul from Puppy over here.
Can we take a look at the TC? How many sheep are already there at the HRE TC?
Oh, no way.
Oh my God.
No way.
Oh! No way.
Oh my gosh.
That was so risky, but the payoff is so worth it. And he's got a good amount of sheep there as well. Oh my God. Okay, yeah. PuppyPaw. Wait, no, he's making Dark Age Spearman. Okay.
He sees the forward gold. He sees the forward Uvu. I'm actually fine with this. In extended fights here, he has the inspiration. He's going to be able to kind of equalize. There's a point where Beasty's not always going to be able to double produce, and forward gold and forward Uvu means that PuppyPaw might never have to worry about a tower rush.
Yeah, he's got a lot of spearmen out already right now. Personally, I'm not a big fan of that. I think it's better to just let the outpost go up, so Beasty kind of delays himself, and then you just mass up a lot of units in Feudal Age and you push over. I'm not sure if this is gonna work out. he's got a lot of spearmen out right now, and Mongols did get nerfed.
And he gets to choose the fights. Beasty's not going to be able to take the fight here onto the gold if Puppy has the numbers.
It's just gonna straight up start burning down the
Is that a double production coming out?
I
hope
don't
that's
think
two.
it is. I don't think. Yeah, it's
just
not.
a single.
It's not.
Oh no.
Welcome to Nerf Mongols, everybody. Next one's gonna be double. Actually, no, it's gonna be one single and then a double produce one.
PuppyPaw just slowly getting those torches out.
Has to be careful. Doesn't want to overcommit here. Push comes to shove. I mean, Mongols, they still have the Khan signal arrow. Could help a lot in these engagements. And weak spearmen can easily get picked off by it. 8 spearmen, more in queue. PuppyPaw is really committing to that.
And look at the sheep for Beasty now.
Getting 13. I'm not sure how many he had under his TC, though.
I want to say it wasn't a ton. And I think this
He's
is
idle.
Oh no.
3 villagers idle there. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is no bueno for him right now.
And think about if PuppyPaw had kept up the spear production. Beasty would still have to continue to use more and more of that food here. He's actually completely off. He'd be so far delayed.
Oh no. Oh no, that hurts. That hurts so much right now.
He's gonna be so far delayed and feudal.
Yeah, by a lot. Now he might at least like get an outpost up from all of this wood that he's gathering right now. But this hurts so much. Ooh.
And PuppyPaw, he's actually gone back onto some spears himself. Maybe just a little bit scared about what Beasty has coming. Obviously, Puppy doesn't have the knowledge that Beasty just went idled like we do. And PuppyPaw, he's using the spears to push the deer all the way in. He is down a couple spears, and remember, like you just said, the Khan arrow can give some extra mobility to the Mongol spears.
I'm unsure what Beasty's doing right now because he's completely forgoing like fuel age timings right now by investing even more into spears.
Oh, okay, we're good.
Oh, is he gonna delete the mining camp? Doesn't look like it. Mining camp.
It's gonna get burned down quick, but if it does get burnt down, we just saw a good little charge come in. A little bit of some help from the TC as well, and Prelate, like you said, can help do some extra little bit of healing. Make sure those spears are fit and secure. Emergency repair utilized before it started to burn. And the longer Puppy just continues to delay this on up, the better this goes because Feudal can finish. He gets the spear upgrade, and then the fight becomes that much easier, especially with the movement speed that he can chase down Beasty's spears as they try to run.
Fuel Age now also coming in for Beasty behind this. Silver Tree, it's going to be no big surprises there. But the mining camp is going to be set on fire.
Mining camp not only set on fire, but fully taken down. Chapel still not quite finished here. But
wait, does Spearman already have the bonus movement speed in Dark Age?
You just now figured that out?
Yeah, I just now figured it out. I thought it would still be like Feudal Age, but no, they got it in Dark Age already. Yeah, I just now figured that out.
Yeah. Yeah, unbelievably good. Beasty still tries the outpost rush. Spear upgrade comes through. Fight gets taken by PuppyPaw. It's still a good bit of time for that outpost to go up. PuppyPaw. Oh gosh, he wipes the other side of the spears, but the outpost will end up finishing for Beasty.
And the gold is going to get denied, but that's not too bad, actually. Now we're actually at the point in time, now we're in the timeline that I talked about earlier with just massing units and burning down the outpost in the end. Because Beasty, what this does also is it's going to delay any response from his side, getting like additional production buildings out, additional units out.
And look what Puppy's going to do. He's just going to walk right by and go to the gold and go to the Uvu and deny it, I think.
What outpost, man? I don't see an outpost.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
People saying wrinkly brain. It's been a work week. I haven't had time to play, all right? Wrinkly brain, all right. Wait, isn't wrinkly brain good?
Who knows? Villagers don't get spotted out building the outpost. Now they do. Oh, and the outpost I think is gonna get denied. It got denied, fully canceled. Now Uvu's gonna get burnt down. Barracks is gonna have to get pushed away too. This is devastation. And like what Beasty has spears split off. It's like, oh great, you can maybe kill some reinforcing units. All Puppy has to do is get a mass of like four. Yeah, all he needs to do is get a mass of like 4 archers and it's over.
Yeah, and PuppyPaw can choose every single fight that he wants to take because he's got the movement speed advantage. And Mongols, man, they're feeling so weak right now in this matchup. Beasty, he can't make Keshiks, he doesn't have gold. He can't make traders because he doesn't have gold. He's got 1 out right now. That one can't even finish the first trade round, has to run back. He's now on double archer ranges, making archers. But even that doesn't feel great.
Well, think about what you're going up against. If your opponent, who's on double archer range, has more wood production because it's under the chapel, and their archers are better, they're faster than you, they get to choose the fights they take. It's just a free win here now with the position that PuppyPaw finds himself in if he doesn't just make a blatant mistake. Very, very kind of nice opening game. Even though the spear play might not have been the maybe most preferred move, it still worked out completely fine. Outpost starting to get focused a little bit, and
that's not enough spearmen. Oh, never mind, there's the rest. Or at least more. And a man-at-arms as well. And more. It's 17 to almost 30 military right now.
And villagers go, all right, great. We got our gold back. Puppy even has dropped some farms like we saw. And I mean, he's just sitting pretty. He is in full control behind the driver wheel.
Beasty killed the deer? Could PuppyPaw just lure the deer in again?
I think the deer did not fully get killed. I think nope, they did not.
No, they're all alive. Yeah. He could, but I think right now, with this military advantage, he can just run over and do whatever.
Burn the outpost that Beasty's building. Yep, I knew he was building some outposts on gold. There's no way he couldn't be right now. But this is where PuppyPaw, even if these don't get fully denied, the idle time alone, Beasty's on 10 gold. He just now started to gather gold. So delayed off of upgrades, delayed off of castle age, whatever that may be. And PuppyPaw's just taking this. He's like, all right, great. The 5 vills inside of the outpost, that's idle time. And that's still less archers than what I have out.
Yeah, he can just take this fight. And with that outpost going down, villagers jumping out, trying to repair. Emplacement not quite in it yet. More villagers are getting pulled to repair. Villagers going down now on the front side. Meanwhile, the archers, they're still going down. There's still a lot of spearmen. Men-at-arms is out there as well, soaking up a lot of the fire. And now the archers are dead. All the archers are gone. Now there's spearmen remaining, but they're going to be easy to pick off.
And PuppyPaw even had another military mass split to kill the few traders that BC tried to send out. Villagers that were in the outpost immediately start to fall as well. And PuppyPaw is in control, taking 3 games straight off of Beasty after giving up a wild, long, extended first. And we're going to be excited. We're going to have a good old redraft. And let's see if maybe Beasty can turn around this next Civ pick, this next grouping stage.
God damn it, you people ruined my odds on the betting. Ah. All right, yeah, 3-1 right now for PuppyPaw. Damn, he's looking really, really solid, I gotta say. I mean, this one was, to be fair, like, I consider this one to have been a Civ win at that point in time. Like, HRE on that map feel absolutely solid, but drafting is also, like, it was obvious that HRE was going to be coming in. I'm not sure if Beasty practiced this one, if he thought, okay, maybe I could still like win this, regardless of how favored it is, I would say, for HRE. But man, that is I'm getting to redraft.
HRE is a win on every map, I think, is what we're quickly learning here, Crackedy. I mean, they are looking absurd right now. Boys, what a game. What an interesting phase we find ourselves in. I mean, a lot of people still would have pegged BC as a slight favorite going in this, but we already find ourselves in a match point situation with BC only having 1 on the board. Let's quickly dissect what happened. That game, it's kind of bonkers right now. Like, Crackedy, I bless you. I love that you went on the educational like moment of, wait, Dark Age Spearmen get movement speed. All of a sudden, that buff to the HRE seems somewhat busted, right?
It does. It absolutely does. I've been talking about before. I think HRE have already been S tier before. Now they're in a whole nother league. It used to be, oh, Castle Age, Castle Age, Castle Age. Now, wait, Feudal Age exists, and suddenly a whole new world has opened up for HRE players.
And it's kind of crazy to think, Dabston, right? Like for a long time, people like Mongols S tier in competitive, or at least A tier. All of a sudden, I feel like with these nerfs and now the arrival of things like HRE, they almost look like a C tier Civ. And funnily enough, the performance in the playoffs is showing that so far. They're at a 20% win rate. There is only one Civ that is having a worse time here at the playoffs, and that's the Malians with 4 games and no wins.
Jeez. Unbelievable. And yeah, I laughed that Crackedy, you just mentioned Feudal Age being their play, but Dark Age is also HRE's play now. It's every single age across the whole entire board. I've actually been seeing some people pull out the Dark Age Spear Tower Rush with HRE now, trying to become a Mongol player themselves, as we just saw how easy they were able to take down another Mongol. So it's one that people have a lot of different builds, and that's the greatest thing about patches and these like little slight updates and changes is you never know what's going to be coming out, and we're just very quick after one.
And it's not just the impact that it has on the Civ itself, Crackedy. When we're in competitive play, there's a whole new layer to the cake, right? Because with this pick ban scenario we have, all of a sudden your priorities change. We've seen Ottomans slipping through a lot. All of a sudden, Iobid seems like the most banned of all time. Byzantines now have to be considered the ban phase. I'd argue even HRE now has to be on a lot of players' mind for that second phase ban.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think so as well. I mean, HRE. Oh my, Byzantines for Beasty now on the redraft. Okay. PuppyPaw has gotten it banned by Beasty, and now Beasty is gonna pick it first. Even though in the first one, Byzantines lost in the end.
Remember that
That's
part?
an interesting one.
Remember that part where I said there's literally only one Civ that is performing worse on the playoffs than Mongols? Beasty chose it as his second pick here. The king of the Malians is going to have to make a bold statement. But, with this opening draft, Dabston, I'm already seeing a really big concern, and that's Iobids are unbeaten in the playoffs. They are one of the best performing Civs overall. They have looked unstoppable in the hands of the top players. And PuppyPaw gets it as a first pick.
Yeah, we did see PuppyPaw kind of pass it up on the front side of the draft, but obviously he had second thoughts here with the Ayubids, and it is one where they're not as much like when you think of their counterpart of the Abbasids, Abbasids is much more of a macro kind of boomy. Ayubids is more this timing civilization that if you punish these timings and you know these efficient timings, it is close to impossible to stop. It's that military wing into their castle age to follow on up, and it's so hard to stop the follow-up castle. And even still, sometimes we've seen it against Mali. He played out an extended feudal and worked totally fine too.
Yeah, and we've seen flexibility there with the Ibids as well, Crackedy, right? You either get the military wing, as Dabson was saying, to punish any greed from your opponent, force a reaction, go for the growth wing, or you get the growth wing and feudal age. That's a 15% increase in your economy by the time you get it, and that just accelerates you quick in a castle. It feels like this Civ right now is probably the hardest Civ to answer.
Yeah, Ayubids definitely feel really, really strong. And I gotta say, watched a game between Certain and Kiljadi earlier today where we actually had Ayubids versus Byzantines. And both of these civilizations just look absolutely insane at the moment. I gotta say, like, Ayubids, for one, it's not just early on, but even later on in the game, they also still look really, really strong. Byzantines all around look very strong, and Ayubids have been in that position, I feel like, since the release of the expansion. Just absolutely insane with their timings. Like, you go for so much feudal aggression, suddenly you're Castle Age. Not even an issue there for them. It's gonna be interesting to see how it's played out here, if it's getting picked.
I mean, I'm wondering if he just picks it right now. I think the Iobid Japanese matchup has been an interesting one. I noticed Baltoon came up with a very innovative build there where you open with Onimusha to counter the timing. But outside that, like you said, the Byzantines might be the golden solution. And I feel like Beasty, if he looks at this and says, if it's Iobids, I need to put my best foot forward, we could actually see the big 2 strong smash civs coming out on match point. And it's got to be said, this is a good map for Iobids. I feel like Rocky Canyon is one of the best performers right now, Davston.
I mean, yeah, it's one that it just kind of suits that kind of timing style that we were just talking about. It's one that you just mentioned it very hard to actually react and have a leg up on a Ubids, whether they go with the growth wing or they go with the feudal age military wing. I feel like when those desert raiders pop out, it's like even still, it's like I don't know what unit to go up against them because it's like yeah, archers, yeah, spears, horsemen. It's like every single time they just end up switching in or they just end up running on away.
I just love the fact that as well the Ottomans got left as scraps to the end of the drafting phase, right? Wasn't even that high priority. Like I'm wondering, like Crackedy in PuppyPaw's position, we're saying like Ibid's Byzantines best foot forward from both sides. PuppyPaw can afford to bait you here, right? Like Beasty potentially throws Byzantines away, and PuppyPaw could just Smeagol and hold on to that Ibids for either Gorge or Coastal Cliffs.
Yeah, I'm really wondering on Rocky Canyon what it's going to be from Beastie. I could see Malians coming in here just because Malians in general are really good against most of the civilizations that PuppyPaw has available to him. I think Malians are pretty damn good against Ibids because Javelin Throwers melt Desert Raiders. They're pretty good against John because the Donzos are really good in general. I think they're pretty decent against Ottomans as well if played correctly. A little bit harder, but still very decent. I think it could be a little bit of a bait. I don't think that BC is going to pick Byzantines just because Byzantines, if you go Byzantines into Jean, you're going to have a bad time.
And also, think Coastal Cliffs. Coastal Cliffs is really good for Byzantines. I think like they've been unstoppable when we've seen them on that map. So it's like saving it a little bit later might be the way. I guess the thought process for Beastie might also be Dabston. If I throw out the Byzantines now, sure I'll survive another game, but that's going to leave me weaker in the sixth game, the seventh game, right? And winning one game is not going to turn this all around.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you can have the idea that you need to win this game to be able to extend the series, but you also want to have your best chance to win the whole entire series. So one of the things we talked about, the reason why redrafting is such a huge benefit is because of the ability to not leave yourself with a very, very poor matchup in the later stages of the draft if it extends. And that's exactly where Beastie doesn't want to do that by forcing a good matchup now.
Yeah, and I'm wondering, is there something that BC knows that we don't with the English, right? Because that was one of his priority picks here. We've got 3 games to go. I think like maybe Crackedy, if you had to choose it for any map that was going to come out on, do you save it for, say, Coastal Cliffs?
Yeah, I think Coastal Cliffs would be most likely, like based on the civilizations here. I would see Byzantines versus Ibids. Like if you, at the same time though, PuppyPaw is on match point.
That's my thought, right? Like, what if he's baiting you in? Like, we saw this traditionally. You remember when the tournaments first kicked up? I think Vortex done this a lot, Lucifer in the early days, where like they would always stick their Mongols out. I still remember one of the earliest finals. I think it was Vortex versus Marine Lord, and Vortex like, I've got Mongols, and Marine Lord picked the Abbasids when they were the absolute trashiest of trash civs in the original days, right? And it completely twists the draft in a way that you can't then address later.
Yeah, I mean, that's one where I actually just love hearing the players talk about drafting like after the like end up tournament finishes on up, Beastie streaming or Puppy streaming, and they're going back through their thought process here and they go, well, I was thinking about this, and this, and you literally will see them and they're like, oh yeah, I knew exactly how the next 3 games were played. And it's like us as viewers, us as casters, we don't always get to see that, but then all of a sudden you get to see this behind the scenes look and it's like, oh my gosh, like it's so cool actually kind of getting that different point of view.
Oh my God, he done it to him. The Byzantines pick had to come through. BC couldn't hold it back. But PuppyPaw brings out the Abbasids. Now, this is an interesting thought, Crackedy. Like today, Abbasids are a 100% win rate, right? They've made their debut in the playoffs. They've now been picked and played a total of twice. And they've won twice. Like with these slight changes, just the fresh foodstuffs alone, right? It being one of the biggest noticeable changes. Is this enough to maybe give the Abbasids a shot at taking the belt from the Byzantines?
I'm thinking right now when it comes to like, what do you even do as the Abbasid in this matchup? Surely you don't go a military wing because if it's early mercenary play, then you're immediately getting completely counted there. Gonna be interesting. Maybe Eco Wing just immediately, straight off the bat.
You think he's gonna like full tell?
I
I
think you
think
could do it.
I think that's my thought here is you go second TC, even potentially on the stone, maybe even a third as well with eco, and you're just massing archers, you're sitting behind your walls, and you're just playing turtle style and hoping to get to this timing point to where you didn't take up too much damage.
I mean, Marine Law's not in this series, so I've got to be the guy to bring it up. What about Trade Wing? Maybe could be. I mean, this trade posts.
I don't think trade is going to be the way to go, just because if you go trade against a civilization like Byzantines, which get horsemen, which do for one bonus damage versus worker class units, and then also generate gold, that's going to set you up for a bad time. I think the thought is going to be, yeah, you go for like potentially triple TC. The idea behind it is, if Byzantines goes for like fast castle age, and what are they going to do if they do go fast castle age? Maybe rank in spam into your base. You have an answer with that with the camel archers, which by the way also got a nice little 10 food buff there in the last patch. And also if it's like massive ranking gods, camel archers once again do bonus damage there against the spearmen. So even with the shield wall, they're going to be doing a lot of damage to those guys. Yeah, I think 2 or 3 TC might be probably the best answer here for PuppyPaw.
All right, so no proxy merc houses, no shenanigans there. I think maybe we just get kind of a macro game. Speaking of proxies, by the way, maybe use that one there. Get some Surfshark VPN, HCTV. Guys, I'm going to keep reminding you about this because I just checked in on the business side. They told me there's a 30-day money-back guarantee, all right? So if you're right now like, I don't know if I need a VPN, KP's giving all these great arguments of how it can save me money and how I can hide my data and how that one game where I accidentally built like a mill on my tree line instead of a lumber camp, KP wouldn't have known it was me if I just actually pretended to be from Japan because I logged into a VPN. Well, now you can just try it for free essentially, right? If you don't like it, within 30 days, easy refund, no questions asked from Surfshark. So definitely, guys, go take advantage of that. The EGC TV code is only going to work to the end of this weekend, so I want you guys to make sure you're getting that value. I already mentioned it works out at like $3 or $4 a month. Actually, even less, courtesy of our 3 months for free. Anyway, plug over because we have got an important one here, boys. This is insane. Abbasids have been looking unstoppable today. PuppyPaw, one of the OG Abbasid spammers. I still remember him on his David Kim account, his brother on his Buster McScruggs account. They knew nothing but the way of the camel. Is that going to be the way they find their way into a grand finals matchup of Marine Lord? It's time to find out as we hop into game number 5 with PuppyPaw on match point.
The potential game decider starting now. Beasty in the north side as the Byzantines in the color yellow, and PuppyPaw in the southeast in the color red as the Abbasid dynasty.
All right, let's see what we've got here. So Beasty, he's got the gold in the back, but he's got the berries in the front-ish side. That hurts a little bit, but I think the cistern that he started with, is that also in range of the berries potentially? It looks to be in range. You only need the drop-off building to be in range. So yeah, that is going to be in range easily there for him. Very nice. But with berries at the front side, you always have to worry about your age-up choice. If you go for the Grand Winery, having your landmark at the front side can leave you open, can leave you exposed, and that's always dangerous. So you'll have to probably consider, like, put extra attention on where you wanna drop that, because usually you want to put your food economy around the Grand Winery. Could also be seeing a hippodrome here.
Both of these players again going with their aggressive scouting, but on either side. So just kind of doing their trade-offs to each other and grabbing up as much sheep as they can. Not really getting any information yet because it's not time for feudal age landmarks to be dropped like you were just talking. And which one will it be for Beasty? And not
It's
only
gonna be interesting, but he's not gathered any berries yet, so I would assume that it's gonna be Grand Winery. If you go Hippodrome, then you would already be on berries.
Well, PuppyPaw also kind of, we're sitting here watching, waiting to see what he clicks up with. Will it be military or will it be something like the eco that got buffed on up? As you mentioned, the military wing can kind of just be countered out pretty easily by the Merc House.
A-Jump should be coming in soon. And there it is, Grand Winery. Oh, that's even more forward than I thought he was going to put it. That is very far forward.
Yep, so it is the Grand Winery and it is the military wing. So Puppy still wants a couple of those units, wants to be able to get that boot camp upgrade and get his at least foot in front of himself in this feudal age to be able to at least protect up a secondary TC if that's his game plan.
And it's going to be the military wing now from PuppyPaw. So instead of seeing like early mercenary play with Hippodrome, instead we'll be just seeing the normal gameplay here from both these civilizations. Grand Winery for the Byzantines and military wing for the Abbasid. Could still be the follow-up into TC, but I could also imagine PuppyPaw just playing this very aggressively, trying to deny out berries, and playing this all in feudal age.
Yeah, if you mentioned the forward berries,
it's going to be 2 TC.
Yeah. I was supposed to say, you mentioned the forward berries. Maybe that's one of those things that you react to once you scout it on out. But Puppy has already sent the villagers on over to the stone. Has the mining camp being dropped now that he got enough wood for it, and it's going to be that quicker 2 TC play.
So once again, same strategy here from PuppyPaw. Interesting how Beasty is going to try and follow us up with. Is he also going to go for his own secondary TC? So far, no move out yet onto stone. Granted, he is getting a lot of it passively. But without any villagers moving over to stone, I don't think we're going to be seeing it anytime soon. Does have a lot of wood in the bank, so going to be interesting to see what he's going to be using it for. It's going to be an early production building out here for him. And it is going to be an archery range.
And the military wing finishes. Wheelbarrow on the way for Beastie's Byzantines, and those units for PuppyPaw just on headed to the stone for now. I'm not sure if their plan is to head across the map as of yet, but we will see.
Looks like they are moving over towards the direction of those berries, so I just want to try and harass that a little bit.
Yep. Force Beast to at least make 3 archers out from that range he finished on up with, and second cistern being built for Beastie now, trying to get that water level rising.
And he's going to build it in range of the nether berries in the back there, so is going to end up probably with a lot of olive oil that he could put into units. What do you think the contract is going to be? I'm thinking probably in this matchup, Western contract.
You know, I wish I could say that I knew the names for him. The longbow contract's gonna be my guess. Is that the Western contract?
That is the Western contract.
Okay. I should know the names for them all, but you know, it's one that I will say I'm not that well versed in my Byzantine knowledge yet.
All right, I see in the chat, KP think it's gonna be the Silk Road one. It's gonna be interesting to see which one it's gonna ultimately end up being. Granted, did already put up an archer range, so going for Western is like a little bit counterintuitive just because you're already getting archers out and now you're just getting longbows, which are just archers in the end. Looks like PuppyPaw wants to learn the deer once again, but the scout from Beastie is going to make that difficult. Looks like he wants to snipe out a couple of these deer before they make their way over. At least a couple of deer.
Yeah, he made it to where it wasn't as bad as it could have been, but 3 archers have moved across. TC up in time. PuppyPaw, no worry at all from that. Oh, look at that. Beastie even pushed that last one in just one little extra jump.
They sit next to each other.
Yeah, I mean, they were 5 right next to each other. That doesn't feel like the worst. I mean, there's some maps where 3 deer spawn are the only ones that spawn next to each other, and you have to drop a mill on those.
Also stable coming out, so horsemen should be on the menu soon. Can we take a look at PuppyPaw, how many houses or rather buildings he needs until Golden Age? I think he's literally just about to get it. And looks like he just got it, so Golden Age already in. Plus 15% gather rate now. That's pretty even with the cistern buff.
Yep, big little
Silk
boost
Road
there, and it is the Silk Road has been completed.
Silk Road useful for getting the camel riders out as well. Camel riders in general, pretty damn nice when it comes to late game as well. With the foreign engineering company, you will get camel support, which helps you a lot in these like late game battles where you're going to be having the camel support bonus armor on all of your infantry. And I gotta say, like the bonus armor together with Lemidni can be a little bit filthy. Just straight up having up to 5 armor on Lemidni. And then also the range damage reduction.
Horseman doing the best it can at trying to snipe on out with the back of line of Beasty's archers, but just showing how strong the shield wall can be when there's only a few archers from PuppyPaw and trying to take down the spears for Beasty.
They are going to be out on the field, which means the Horseman probably won't get too much value out there right now. And now his second barracks coming out, so it's probably likely just going to be mass limit nice spam coming out from him. PuppyPaw, it's going to be difficult when you're up against mass limit nice spam with the javelin throwers also being there, because then, like, usually you just want to make archers, but the javelin throwers kind of do immediately counter that. Horsemen don't really work there as well. I think the correct play would be to make a mix of archers and just mass spearmen, because you also get special spearmen as the Bassett.
Yeah, you do end up having to pay a good bit for Phalanx upgrade to get those spearmen to be a little bit more of the extra specialty. PuppyPaw did see Beasty move out onto the berries, and so he just circled around this one single horseman. Yeah, it might not get some kills. It will just cause some annoyance, though. Villagers tried to get a circle. Scout got pretty close to being taken down.
We'll get taken down by the javelins.
Get taken down by the javelins.
Just a couple of units from PuppyPaw on the left-hand side of the map. BC still actively scouting, seeing the reinforcements in PuppyPaw's base. Notice that there's still more horsemen coming out. And it's a third barrack? Is that a third barracks? That's a third barracks.
I think that's the third barracks. It's just...
It might be a third barracks.
BC's going with the OG all Limitanize spam.
It's interesting because this has been directly nerfed recently. Down from 50% to 30% by now that you are able to like absorb damage with a limit knife. The archers are just running all the way around.
I mean, they are taking the journey here, but will we see a Vil pickup? Nope. Beasty is so quick. Quick reaction there.
On the houses? Ah, he had a scout there.
Scout there.
Siege engineering? Wait, we're seeing the... Are we going to be seeing the Kira Siphons? Is this just going to be an all-in push now? Oh, this could work. Look at how many units he has out on the field. 32 compared to 20.
Yeah, PuppyPaw did just run out of those berries. He needs to get some potential damage in and make Beasty pull back with his army, because one thing about Beasty's army, very, very slow. It's all infantry. Oh, Puppy.
Hello?
Free Vils. Hello.
Any chatters? Oh, now, there we go.
And there it is. We do get a couple free Vils, and obviously Beasty does not have that secondary TC, so compounds that Vil lead just a little bit more.
Oh, and he's gonna send the archers around the side. He's just gonna run back with the horsemen. I'm not sure if Beasty saw the archers making their way through there as well. This could be another surprise attack then.
Gonna go hit the berries again, and this is just where Puppy's doing a great job continuing to idle Beasty over and over again. Make sure that he has to pull back with his military mass and can't start building those rams, can't start that forward push that he clearly wanted to do, because you're only getting siege engineering for one reason, and that is to drop some rams and get going.
Yeah, we're seeing more and more javelin throwers coming in. PuppyPaw, he's just making more and more archers right now. At one point, there's going to be enough archers to ignore the javelin throws and just take care of all of these limit nigh. Oh, has the archers over there already on the second berry patch. Ah, but got some limit nigh over there as well. Field wall coming in.
Oh, Puppy, watch out, middle. That's three horsemen that just got picked up for nothing. That is actually massive right now, but Beasty's still delayed off of food for this timing. He's not... He got off of those early berries just a little. I think he had one berry patch left on that north side, but he still has been delayed in moving over to this west side berries because Puppy knows that this was coming. Javelin's on the way now, though, too.
Yeah, the javelins, then you need to run. And now the Kurasiphon is coming out. Scout probably is going to get picked off.
Yep. Scout picked off. Javelin's able to take down a few of those archers with their shots, but archer mass is still in a somewhat healthy state, and I say somewhat because they are continually getting picked. Javelin's very, very healthy and not getting touched.
This feels quite awkward right now, but the Kira Siphon is going to be coming out. And that's when it starts getting dangerous now for PuppyPaw. Kira Siphon, you can't really torch it down with villagers, mainly because the Kira Siphon just... The stream of fire, if you get close, it's going to be very, very difficult. And the outpost, it's going to fall rapidly.
Yeah, the good thing for Puppy has a significant villager lead, so it's almost like one of these where just give up some of your base,
He's
just
aging.
continue to wait. Oh my, he's about to.
That's ballsy. That is very ballsy of him.
The Kira Siphon got let go.
Oh no, that's so expensive. 260 resource go down.
PuppyPaw, though, he does get forced off of the berries. He loses 2 villagers forward, and he's chopped through that wood line, it looked like, or just had some weird pathing for that chopping.
Yeah, lost a couple of villagers still in the end. He's still very far ahead, and he's going to be able to pick off reinforcements potentially. Taking down the Kira Siphon was huge for him. But all of his wood is on this side, actually.
Did his chop through actually happen?
This is ugly. Chop through, no. You need to actually completely finish up the tree.
It was just they pathed on the outside. I was wondering why they were on the outsides. And there, the wall has been burnt. Villagers, there's so many of them, but the javelin throwers haven't yet stepped on in. Puppy sent the horseman on across. Did he move up to the western side? Did he move up to the eastern side wood line? The small ones? He did.
He's going for the berries. Right, did move out there. Is that barracks getting finished? Ooh. It is, just about.
Hurries up and finishes that barracks, and now we're seeing rams built on the backside. Beasty can see that house being built. He can see the culture wing almost finishing as it is almost on up. PuppyPaw has moved on over to the deer, dropping extra
He doesn't have gold. PuppyPaw doesn't have a lot of gold left.
Barracks starting to be taken down. Horseman had to pull on back, and I think PuppyPaw's just going to go for this big collapse here, but Beasty has so many numbers.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really difficult now to take this fight. Now, Kira Siphons are going to take care of these barracks. At least the first barracks is getting taken down. Oh, very quickly, though, surround. Horseman, they're taking both down, potentially.
Oh, that's still a big pushback, big stall. Beasty invested a lot into this. He's not too far behind on his own castle age himself. Oh no, PuppyPaw moving back out to the berries, and Beasty spots it out.
Oh, he's moving in the wrong direction with those villagers. He needs to move up. Needs to move up. That's going to be a couple of them going down now. Now he's able to take down the Kira Siphon, though. That's important, especially since it was targeting down the blacksmith.
And he has been able to
20 villagers ahead.
Yep, and has been able to reclaim gold during this as well. Because that gold next to that original TC after the villagers or after the military circled back around and pushed through again, Puppy just goes right back onto the gold. Now we're getting the archer upgrade. Golden Horde tower is on the way, and the horsemen are going to go back across now that the archers can hold their own a little bit more, especially with the Gulam front line.
Yeah. Villagers moving out to the berry side, the backside, but Beasty does have units over there. How many units? I'm not quite sure. Might just be a single limit nay. But that limit nay does tell Beasty where he's at. And he's just going to send a couple of his units over there now as well.
Oh, the Golden Horde tower. Oh, it's not. It's going to get up in time, but Puppy was pretty close to potentially just being able to end it right then and there.
Oh, villagers on the cistern.
Gotta love some horseman pathing, but that's where Puppy splits them on up, wanting to get some of that damage, but instead knows that his lives are more important and gets on away and just causes some more idle time as sees more villagers vulnerable out, gathering in some deer.
Beasty splitting up his units. He's on the berries once again, but there is an outpost up there from PuppyPaw. Has it been built yet? It has been built. Villagers are surrounded, though. Needs to be careful. Villagers jump inside. More villagers going down. A lot of villagers have gone down so far, but PuppyPaw still has the firm economic lead.
Oh,
and villagers are on deer.
Worse.
Oh, BC doesn't have the upgrades yet. Still missing out on veterancy on all of his units here. He's going to try and delay the fight. Veterancy coming in on the javelin throws first. Levittney right behind. Composite bow's not in yet from the looks of it. Some of the
half of the archers are attacking the mill. Mill, hello, puppy? Oh, that feels so bad. Gulams though are here. Look at how tanky they are. Oh my gosh. Beasty was looking away as well. Maybe saw Puppy attacking the mill, got a little happy, but the javelin throwers are the only thing left. The horsemen circle back around, and Beasty's army gets absolutely cleaned up, and PuppyPaw has the villager lead here as well, has the tech advantage, getting composite bows, and I don't know what Beasty's going to do to be able to hold this now.
Yeah, once composite bows comes through, it's going to be really tough to take any of these fights. More javelin throwers are going to be in queue here, so that's 8 javelin throwers that are potentially going to be coming out soon. The question is when, though? Because he needs them very, very soon, and one of those batch is from the Golden Horn Tower, so it takes a little bit longer.
Oh, and I love this wall-in from Puppy. He has so many resources on the south side of the map, just in his little corner. He's got the 2 big gold veins. He's got food. He's got 3 different food resources. He's just going to wall himself in and go, all right, that'll last me up until Imperial and late Imperial even, where I don't have to worry about raids anymore.
But at the same time, Beasty going on in the deer in the front, send some units over there, but now Puppy knows about that being there from Beasty.
Wololo being attempted.
That's not happening.
Yep, that gets immediately denied.
The army right now from Puppy is split a little bit on the left and right hand side.
He's just been trying to take down this Golden Horn Tower for a while now, and it feels like Beasty's just been trying to wait and wait and wait for a good time to make sure this doesn't happen. He's massing up a good amount of Varangian guards. He's got javelin throwers, so a good amount of units to deal with what Puppy has. The Mangonel could be a key factor here, though.
Yeah, and now that he's fighting over there, PuppyPaw is fighting against the villagers. Landmark is burning. PuppyPaw splitting the horsemen up to the sides.
Good Mangonel shot onto the Jav. Another Mangonel shot. Looks like PuppyPaw just left him. He just left his archers and said, all right, I'm going to go hit your eco now. He knows how far ahead he is in the eco, too. Probably knows. Yeah, this is Beasty's heart. Beasty's got no way to deal with this, no way to react. He's also stepping through on the front side. Yep. Lancers, men-at-arms, Gulams, and Beasty is not in a good spot. PuppyPaw is up 3-1. Could this be the game? Could this just be it? Is PuppyPaw going to get himself into the finals?
It feels like it right now. I gotta say, Dabston, it definitely feels like it. 34 villagers ahead right now. No, wait, that's more. 36 villagers ahead right now. And now crossbows are coming in from PuppyPaw. More Gulams are gonna be coming out. PuppyPaw on 2k food per minute. Beasty at 800, and GG gets called. PuppyPaw with the 4-1 victory makes it into the finals against Marine Lord. And we're going to be seeing a Louis versus Beasty match for 3rd place.
Whew, what a series. What a matchup here to finish it up with. PuppyPaw just having that secondary TC pay off, was able to hold the push, able to constantly make sure that Beasty didn't have his full focus into the aggression, had some raids on the backside, split up a few archers, hurt Beasty's food, and then all of a sudden he had everything in control from there. What a solid series from PuppyPaw.
Yeah, absolutely amazingly played. The Abbasid here. Man, Abbasid, after the day, people are just going to put them in S tier everywhere. HRE, they're going to be S tier. Oh, man.
Ooh, what a fun matchups.
Music to my ears right there. HRE and Abbas to S tier. The time has come. That's right. Abbas has only had to take a break for a few months. HRE back on top. Great cast, boys. Great series. I mean, it didn't go quite the distance we were looking for here, right? I was praying that we get to 7 games, but man, you can't take anything away from PuppyPaw. I mean, this draft felt, I want to say surgical, Crackedy. I really liked his execution in the first phase and the second. You know, that HRE priority. We saw the Iabids here. It kind of felt like going into this second drafting phase, we see the advantage you get on being on match point, right? Like we mentioned, the Iabids is probably what Beasty was anticipating, but the fact that you were able to take the Abbasids in there and still have 2 remaining strong picks in the remaining games just shows you how much I think PuppyPaw has evolved as a player, and also just how kind of twists and turns this new drafting format can be.
I mean, wild series. Like we said, going into that last matchup, having the ability to kind of be in control with the last, not only first map, but the ones to follow as well. You had to throw away Civ if you wanted it to try to set up the next couple games if you want, but PuppyPaw didn't even need that. Super clean game with the Abbasid, and that's where like we said, Abbasid S plus tier now.
I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing how this develops in the grand finals. It's kind of funny. I chuckled to myself when I heard Crackedy say, "We're gonna have a Louis MT Beasty third place match," and my brain was like, "Well, that's a third place match. It's gonna be longer than the grand finals." I mean, and that's kind of the funny part of this, right? Is like I think this has been really impressing me about PuppyPaw. We actually saw it earlier on, if you remember, against Vortex Crackedy. Is PuppyPaw is incredibly aggressive, right? Like, yes, he went for a little bit more boom even approach. He forced Beasty to enact his assault first. But I think the thing that I'm loving out of PuppyPaw is this ability to play late game, but not shy away, even against players like Vortex that are 11 out of 10 on aggression when it comes to early game as well.
Yeah, he's very flexible with his gameplay, which is very nice to see because every time you watch him, depending on what his opponent does, you know that okay, this answer like there's a certain game plan behind it, and it's very nice to watch. It's definitely very nice to watch, and I mean we've seen it here. The Abbasid, he had a game plan with it. He executed 2 times very nicely. Honestly, I was kind of afraid when he went up to Castle Age. I was like, oh my god, this is going to be such a tight needle. But he managed to every single time snipe Beasty's ram just in time, and it actually delayed Beasty's push by so much there into space that he managed to get away with it and push all the way across the map. Really impressive gameplay from him all throughout the day.